Well, a very good afternoon from a very, very warm Utilita Bowl ahead of this T20 quarter-final encounter between Hampshire and Essex. Hampshire in quarter-final action for the 14th time, Essex for the 13th time. Both teams bidding for finals day, which comes up very soon, which is this Saturday at Edgbaston. Essex have won the toss and they have decided to bowl first. We're on the same wicket that was used on Saturday in the T20 International between England and India. A very, very good wicket indeed. Hopefully it survived the hot weather over the last few days and we'll have equally a good and entertaining game. I'm Kevin James and next to me from BBC Essex, it's Nick Ledhill. Nick, very good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Kevin. And, well, it is about as warm as it was when I came here. I think it was on the 26th of May for one of the very early games in the group. And here we are, very similar conditions, but probably not going to be as big a crowd because obviously this very short notice 4:30 start for these quarterfinals on this World Cup semi-final day is going to have an impact. I suspect people will sort of come in as they leave school or work, but it's certainly going to be not the sort of crowd we would have got had it been an evening game. But Essex going into this, they are unchanged. It's probably the strongest side that they've had during the competition, with both Bennett and Cook in the same side, which has only really been the case for the last couple of games. Shane Sneijder's had a very good tournament. Simon Harmer has been very economical, and Matt Critchley has been getting into form against Hampshire and then against Surrey, and he's back on the ground where he did so well right at the start of the season in the Championship. So I think this is a pretty even call. It was a good win for Hampshire on Sunday, wasn't it, with that partnership between Cartwright and Mays, but Essex has got a poor recent record here. They've got a long run of defeats, I think 6 in a row. But quarter-final is a different thing altogether, and they are coming in off the back of 3 very good wins out of 4.
Yes, they certainly are. And should we go through the two teams? Do you want to go through the Essex side?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, they've got the same side as they had for the game against Surrey, where it wasn't a typical oval pitch by any stretch of the imagination, but they certainly restricted and then overpowered the Surrey score. Very similar to the Hampshire game actually a couple of days earlier. So Walter and Pepper, who've both had pretty good seasons. Cox, who didn't play against Hampshire on Friday, but doesn't seem to be getting much of a look in with England at the moment, but he's back in the side. Number 3, and keeping wicket, and Allison, Benkenstein, Critchley, Harmer, Thane, Snater, Cook and Bennett. And as I say, the fact that Bennett's been so effective and is now paired with Sam Cook, as he was actually for the Hampshire game and for the Surrey game, I think that probably leaves Essex at about their strongest that they've been in this campaign, particularly with Matt Critchley coming into the wickets. And I think, to be honest, Kevin, it is probably primarily the bowling unit that has got them through. The batting has been okay, nothing special, but the bowling unit, which has got stronger and stronger, has got them through.
Yeah, the difference when Hampshire were at Chelmsford not so long ago, where they got well beaten by 7 wickets, that Jordan Cox has strengthened that batting lineup for Essex. Hampshire have made one change from the side that beat Sussex at Hove on Sunday night. There's no Liam Dawson. He hasn't been released by England for this game after his heroics with the bat yesterday up at Edgbaston, which suggests he's probably going to feature again for England tomorrow at Cardiff. He did play on Sunday straight after the T20 here. So Hampshire got one game out of him anyway. So they line up like this: Toby Albert and James Vince, the usual opening partnership. Then Joe Weatherly at 3, Ben Mays at 4, Delano Potgieter, who was always playing this game, played on Sunday because Tristan Stubbs was rested on Sunday to give Potgieter a game heading into today. Stubbs has a Cricket South Africa event tomorrow, that's why he's back there. Hilton Cartwright, James Fuller, Andrew Neil, so it's left arm spinner for left arm spinner. Andrew Neil playing his 5th game in this year's competition. James Fuller, as I mentioned, Scott Curry, Chris Wood and Sonny Baker. That's your Hampshire lineup. And just to repeat that Essex have won the toss and elected to bowl first. That's an interesting one because that was the same as Chelmsford, wasn't it, a few days ago?
Yeah, they've had 2 games where they've restricted the opposition fielding first, very impressively. They had that bowling Hampshire out for 130 and then Surrey even more cheaply on Sunday. Having said that, this pitch obviously was the pitch of the Brook-Butler partnership on Saturday. To use wicket, obviously it's had a bit more sun on it now than at the start of that game, and it's whether it might offer a bit more to the bowlers later on. So I don't think it was a straightforward decision today, but Essex are going with a form that's worked well for them in the last few games.
Right, the ways you can pick us up are we're on the Hampshire live cricket picture feed, which is going back to the Essex Cricket website as well. We're also on the BBC Sport website and app. We're also on Sports Extra 3, Kevin James and Nick Gledhill with you. And then our respective radio stations, if you're in Hampshire or if you're in Essex, we'll be picking up live commentary after
Essex,
6 o'clock.
Just after 6 o'clock.
Yeah, that's right. Same as well. So plenty of ways. Very difficult to miss us here. The other quarterfinals are also taking place this afternoon. So at some point later this evening, we'll know the 4 teams that will compete for finals day in 2026. As I mentioned, 13th quarter-final today for Essex, 14th for Hampshire. Hampshire bidding for a 12th finals day, Essex 7 finals days. And, there are other counties that are more successful in terms of getting this far. But let's be honest, Nick, Hampshire and Essex in the quarterfinals is not unusual these days. Not
at all. And to say, I was looking back over the record. I mean, obviously Hampshire got a fantastic record, particularly away from home in these quarterfinals. Essex is a bit more mixed. It's 6-6 in the 12 previous quarterfinals going back to 2004. Interestingly, the top score on that day, a game I saw at Leicester, where I was there 5 hours early, watched the ground fill up. And it's really quite impressive to see Grace Road absolutely full, so unusual. Ronnie Irani hit the first ball up in the air, was out for naught. But Andy Flower has been much talked about as the next England coach if he gets a lot of money. 58 he made, but Leicestershire won that game. But I was looking down the list, and there were some great names. Ryan Tenderscarter's played a big part over the years, particularly his 82 from 44 balls when Essex beat Notts in 2013 at Trent Bridge, and a vintage Graham Napier performance in 2008, 40 off 20 balls and 4 for 10 when Essex beat Northants. The most recent one was at Edgbaston a couple of years ago. In fact, in 2023, it was a game all the South Group sides have been taking it in turn to roll up at Edgbaston and knock over Warwickshire in the quarterfinals after Warwickshire steamrolled the North Group. I think Hampshire have probably done that once. Gloucestershire did it in 24. It was Essex's turn in 23. Again, they were winning easily, but then rather stumbled over the line. Dan Lawrence, right at the end of his time for Essex, 62 from 49 balls. And another one to mention, 2019, the neutral venue game. This was when Lancashire couldn't play at home. Essex played Lancashire at Durham, and Ryan Tender-Scarter there made 45 from 31, and Cameron Delport 44, and they won that game. So 6-6. I think Hampshire probably got a rather better record, head-to-head record in quarterfinals than that, but still one of the most successful sides. And they'll be looking to. They had a great streak, 2010 to 2014, when they won five. They had 5 consecutive quarterfinals. They didn't win all of them. I think. Something like 4 out of 5, I think it was. 2010, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So they had a very good record around about the same time as Hampshire did, where they were very, very strong in the competition.
James Vincent, Toby Albert out there in the middle. It's going to be Shane Snater, the right-arm medium pacers, to get underway from the pavilion end. Keeper is Jordan Cox standing up. I think that's Jordan Cox because he's taken over the gloves, hasn't he, from Michael Pepper. This is Hampshire's 5th quarter-final at home. 2004 was the very first one in the second year of the competition, where they lost to Lancashire. 2011 we were here for Durham, where Hampshire won. 2013 Lancashire again, where Hampshire won a very close encounter by 1 run. 2023 you remember against Worcestershire, where Hampshire won that quite easily, chasing just 100. So here it is, the 5th quarter final, only in 14. Countdown has ended, and here we go then. Snater from the pavilion end. He's going to be bowling to Toby Albert first up, and he immediately works that away on the leg side for a single. May look for 2, thinks about it, decides against it. And we are expecting, maybe not now, but at some point during this game, around about 2,500 people, which is way down on a normal T20 evening. But of course, we've only had about 5 minutes to get this game sorted. Well, we haven't, but everybody else has.
And of course, at 4:30 start, which is
not
ideal, really.
No.
I mean, problem is youngsters might be out of school, but the younger ones wouldn't have anyone to take them to the ground.
That's right.
They're still at work.
There is a slip in for Snater. That's Paul Walter. He's running towards us and bowls, and Vince just pushes that length ball up towards mid-on, and there's no run. Toby Albert this year, 223 runs in 12 innings, striking at 125, a little bit down on last year, but then he was the top run scorer in the competition. It's difficult to maintain that for a second year running. James Vince just over 300 runs, striking at 151, which is a few more than his career average of 136. So he's scoring quickly when he gets in. One without loss, Hampshire. Here's Snater again. Right arm over. Vince pushes that to mid-wicket, and there's no run.
And Snater has been very good. I mean, he's really been very effective all season. Probably bowling a lot better than last year, I think. And 16 wickets in the competition, best of 3 for 33. Economy rate only just over 9, so that's pretty good. As I say, he's now got both Bennett and Cook alongside him in the side, which has been very useful.
Yeah. Bennett looks quite sharp. Evidence of the other night, as Vince again gets one that bounces and just pushes that up to mid-off. Good over so far, 1 run off it.
Yeah, it really was a terrific pitch on Saturday. Once the Indian team had struggled to fight their way through the traffic, although could always have said that they might have set off a bit earlier. But yes, I mean, it really was an excellent T20 surface, wasn't it? Yeah. And great entertainment from Brook and Butler.
Snater in, and Vince works that up to mid-on. Can't find an angle. Again, it's fielded. Yeah, when there's about 5 cruise ships in Southampton, travelling around Southampton is not the easiest place in the world.
Yes, they were in that area, weren't they? So they had a bit of a tricky time getting across to the ground, but at least they batted a bit better than they had done in 1 or 2 of the previous games, but much more like the Indian side we expect yesterday.
Snater in the sunshine here. Vince pulls that away on the leg side. That's gone for 4. Hammered away along the ground behind square. Boundary to end the first over from Snater. Hampshire 5 without loss. Yes, it's a small crowd at the moment, but there are plenty of yellow shirts amongst the fans that are dotted around.
Yeah, looking across at the Shane Warne stand, that's starting to fill up quite nicely. I mean, you'd sort of describe it as a decent championship attendance at the moment, wouldn't you? But it will increase. And as I say, conditions set fair. We've got a bit more cloud than we've had on some previous days, but plenty of blue sky. And temperature, I reckon, probably in the high 20s. Maybe a touch warmer here than in Essex today. But Sam Cook, who's returned to the side at this crucial business end of the competition, has been so important for Essex. He came back with that 4 for 7 at Hove, and the fact that he's now back in the Essex lineup really is a critical factor at this final stage of the competition, with the final itself coming up, of course, in the semi-finals on Saturday. But this is not his best delivery. It's a wide outside the leg stump, and so after that tremendous build-up, he bowls something that's not particularly typical of Sam Cook. But he has been he's been pretty effective in his return to the side. He's got 7 wickets, averaging 9.7 and over, and very good to see him back. Certainly, Essex. Initially, they didn't miss him too much, but then when you've got a player of his quality, eventually you do find that you miss him, particularly in that championship match at Chelmsford against Nottinghamshire. Here is Cook again. That's a better one, and Albert just comes forward and plays head over the ball up into the offside. And I guess Hampshire will be wary of starting their innings as they did at Hove when they were in a little bit of a mess, 60-odd for 5, weren't they, Kevin? And of course, they never really got going in the previous match at Chelmsford, so a better start from the top order will certainly be the order of the day here. Cook turns at the end of his mark. There is a slip in, a short third, a backward point, cover, mid-off, mid-on and mid-wicket. As that one is a delivery which, if anything, just swings into the right-hander, who watches it onto the bat and plays it up into the offside, up towards Michael Pepper. A bit of movement there for Cook, but one imagines that this is going to be a pretty good surface on the basis of what we saw on Saturday, but pitches can change character quite quickly. And Cook, with Essex having asked Hampshire to bat first, comes into bowl. That's well pitched up and played away along the ground up towards fine leg. They've got 1. Albert will settle for that. He has 2. Vince has 4, the 1 boundary so far. So quiet start here. Hampshire are looking to build a platform. They've got a couple of real informed players in Mays and Cartwright to come. And Weatherly, who's been full of runs, 7 for no wicket.
Yeah, bit of reverse swing here for
definitely some
Sam
swing.
Cook. A bit late, quite late swing.
One delivery that certainly did move. So now Vince is in the firing line. That slip still in. It's up to the wicket bowls, and Vince will get one on the middle and leg, which he'll just tuck round the corner, goes down towards a short fine. And not too much bat on that, but enough for Vince to be credited with a run, and he goes to 5, and Albert's there on 2, and Hampshire sent in 8 without loss. So we have this curious situation where 2 sides from the same group are playing each other for the first time. Looking down the list, that's not happened before in any of the previous quarterfinals. And indeed, this is not the only case, because Northants and Gloucestershire are in a similar situation at Wantage Road. Here is a checked drive up into the covers. Good delivery from Cook, and Albert can't quite go through with a shot. And in the end, is just happy just to play it up into the covers. So it's a good tight start here from Essex. 8 for no wicket, Hampshire. Yes, Northants and Gloucestershire. That game starting a little bit later than the others. Starts at 5 o'clock. Notts, Surrey and Yorkshire, Somerset already underway, and certainly a very strong look to the quarter-final lineup this year. Some real informed sides. Here's Cook bowling, and that's just all played away into the offside, and Albert thinks there might be a run, but there isn't. That was a really tight over, just the wide and with 2 singles, and it's 8 for no wicket. Vince 5, and Albert is on 2. So Cook's first over, just going for 3, and Snater 1 over for 5. Going to be Snater having a chat with Harmer as he walks back to his mark at the pavilion end. 3 tiers of the pavilion, the Rod Bransgrove Pavilion. And reasonable numbers up there, obviously a members area. So we've got a good contingent up there enjoying the best of the breeze on the top floor. And Snater bowling, that's pulled away by Vince, and that goes down towards deep square leg, and they'll collect a single. So 9 without loss. Essex sending Hampshire in. Hampshire have done pretty well batting first on this ground in recent years against Essex. This long winning run going through this decade. As Snater bowls again, and that's driven down the ground. It's a good shot from Albert, picked it up on length, and he's hit it away down the ground for 4 to the long off boundary. Fine stroke, and Albert gets his first boundary. He goes along to 10, to 6 rather. It's already up on the board, and it's 13 for no wicket with both batters on 6.
I tell you, it's been some accurate Essex bowling so far, but I think it still looks a good track, doesn't it?
It does, as Snater bowls, and that's played away. Oh, just down towards backward point. Not sure how long that was in the air. Wasn't fielded cleanly, but backup came from Critchley. Might just have been a bit of a full shot from Albert, but
I suppose it didn't go in the hands of Matt Critchley. The games that he's been having against Hampshire this year, everything's gone right for him. 170 in the championship here. Wickets at Chelmsford on last Friday night.
Slip, a deep slip. As this one is just short of a length and pulled away. It's a good shot again from Albert. That was a bit telegraphed from Snater. It was short, and it gave room for Albert to just go into his crease and pull it away. Might have seen that in the Wimbledon final on Sunday, that sort of shot. That was a good stroke, and it's his second boundary. Yeah, very firmly struck. Goes to 10 from 9 balls, and it's 17 for no wicket.
Yeah, he's on that one early through mid-wicket, and that it's a sign of a batter seeing it well. I don't think he's ever been out of nick in this year's competition. This hasn't quite got the big innings that he's looking for. 5
saving 1 on the offside, as this is played to one of those at cover. And there is no run. So Matt Critchley, the aforementioned Matt Critchley, who's doubled his wickets tally in the last couple of games. It's gone from 6 to 13 in no time at all, with a 4 and a 3, both conceding 16 in the 2 games against Hampshire. And so he'll settle for maybe even 2 for 16 or 4 overs this evening.
I'd settle for a little 0 for 40 if I'm honest.
17 for no wicket. Here's Snater bowls. That's just played off the back foot and well fielded at backward point by Thank. Has got to him quite quickly. But the offside, 5-man infield on the offside doing their job there for those last couple of balls. So Albert 10, Vince 6, Hampshire after 3 overs, 17 for no wicket.
Well, it's a steady start. I think what's been good about the start is neither batter has played too loose. James Vince played a very loose shot against Essex in that game at Chelmsford the other night. Very early on in his innings, it does look as though Hampshire are a little bit more measured here. But as I say, I think it's been a fairly accurate start from the 2 Essex seamers. And Sam Cook is just getting a little bit of movement late in the air. He's bowling a new over, bowls to Vince, who's going to take a quick single out into the covers. That's good running because Albert was off straight away. Went straight to the fielder as well. 18 without loss.
It's almost quite unusual for Hampshire to be at home because they've been so used to coming on strong late in the group phases and getting one of those 3rd or 4th places in the South group of 9. But so different this year, dominating 6. I think they won 6 in a row, didn't they, after the Somerset defeat? And then a little bit of a poor run towards the end, but a good victory on Sunday at Hove.
Yeah, here's Cook, runs away from us bowls. Again, there's a bit of swing, but it's nicely driven up to mid-off, up to Harmer by Albert. That's nicely out of the middle of the bat, despite the ball just moving into him fairly late. Yeah, there was a little run towards the end of 3 defeats out of 4, and then they really had to win at Hove to guarantee this game here, and they managed it. 61 for 5. It didn't look as though it was going to happen, but it saved us all a trip to either, I don't know, wherever we were going to go. Yorkshire. Might have even been Somerset. Could have been anywhere, really. Might even been you guys. Here's Cook bowls. That's pulled away by Albert in the air, but safe through mid-wicket. It's going to be 4. He's playing that pull shot nicely today, Toby Albert.
Anything that's slightly short seems to be sitting up, and Albert's capitalised twice. It's a good shot again in front of square through the onside. Yeah, you see, that was short, and it rather just sat up, didn't it? It wasn't perhaps what Cook was hoping for. But pitch didn't offer too much to the bowlers for a lot of the time on Saturday, and early indications something similar here.
22 without loss. Here's Cook bowls, and Albert's on the back foot. He's asking for a single. Vince obliges. Throw comes in, hits the stumps, but Vince is home. Total moves on to 23 without loss. Albert on to 15 from just 14 deliveries. And Vincent, who will be facing the next ball, is 7 from 8.
You can see signs of the crowd gradually increasing, but obviously not the easiest of start times. But I suspect that particularly if Hampshire start doing well, we'll get a bit of an atmosphere going as time goes on.
Let's hope so.
Tense early stages. And I think Hampshire just wanted to make sure they don't lose early wickets in the way they have done in a couple of the recent games.
Yeah, well, they did at Chelmsford, didn't they? Really went very hard at the top and really struggled after that. Cook comes in and bowls an inside edge there from Vince, rather. And they'll get a single again. Just that hint of late in swing there from Sam Cook.
I'm not sure it's the pitch. I think, as you say, it is more the in swing he's getting, and it's just underlining how very, very useful it's been for Essex to have Cook back. Because I think for a while you could almost say, well, coping okay without him, and then say they had that huge defeat in the championship at Chelmsford against Nottinghamshire, and it became apparent that he was wanted back as soon as possible.
Just his 5th match in this year's competition, Sam Cook. That's fuller, and it's driven out into the covers off the bottom of the bat. Very full, that delivery to finish that over. Sam Cook has bowled 2 overs, none for 10. Snater's bowled 2 overs, none for 14. And after 4 overs, Hampshire, as steady as she goes, 24 without loss.
Whereas they've sort of got away with him not being in the team for a couple of games against Leicestershire, for example. When they came up against that higher quality opposition, it just proved a little bit more difficult. So since his return at Hove, he's been very good. And as I say, to me, it has been the bowling unit that has got Essex to where they are. If you look back at some of those streaks of quarterfinals, in eras when Essex had strong attacks, and remember back in the sort of early part of the 2010s, there was strong spin bowling attack with the likes of Canaria and Tim Phillips, for example. So here is Snater, who's going to bowl his 3rd over, 24 for no wicket. He comes in to bowl, and that's a hit in the air and just over Critchley at cover, and it goes for 4. A bit too close to the fielder for comfort, but Vince has got it away. And as you've been saying, with Critchley's record generally against Hampshire and his record here, he might have doubled in size there and height and gobbled that one up, but it was safely over his head. Not by a great distance, but enough, and 4 to the extra cover boundary. 28 for no wicket in the 5th.
Yeah, Vince has given himself some acres of room there outside leg stump in order to find the angle there.
Snater in his 3rd over, none for 18 at the moment. He's up to the wicket, he bowls, and here Vince will go on the drive, but goes back to Snater, and he fields in his follow through and starts to walk back. Yes, he's played a key role, Snater, this year, both in the championship and in this competition, and he's admirably led the attack in Cook's absence in the T20. I'm sure he'll be as pleased as anyone that he's got Cook back in the side with him. Here's a stroke from Vince, which is powerfully hit and goes away to the mid-wicket boundary. There's a deep square and a deep mid-wicket as 2 of the boundary fielders, but that was nicely bisecting the 2. And I think another example of the ball sitting up to be hit if it's just short of a length. We'll have a look at that one from Snater. Yeah, that was just back of a length. It wasn't particularly short, but just back of a length, and it sat up to be hit. 32 for no wicket. Vince 16 from 12.
Yeah, the only criticism from the Essex bowlers is that sometimes they've just pitched too short.
Here is Snater again. That's well pitched up, and Vince gets it away for more runs. This is going down to the fine leg boundary for 4. It's just got past short fine leg. It was a fuller length, but it was a little bit over pitched, and Vince got enough runs on it to beat Bennett's dive at short fine, and Pepper couldn't get across from that deep square leg position, and that's 2 boundaries in a row, which is starting to become a useful start for Hampshire. 36 for no wicket, with 3 boundaries in this over to date.
Yeah, it's interesting. Vince didn't move to the leg side this time, so Snater's tried to keep the ball tight, and in the end, it's too leg sideish.
Snater bowls again, and Vince on the drive, lovely shot. That's gone down the ground. It's just past the leg stump at the other end. Actually, he would have been very unlucky if that had hit the stumps, but it actually went between the bowler and the stumps, just along the ground for a very straightforward, superb shot from James Vince, who's looking dangerous here. 24 from 14, and it's 4.444 in this over.
Yeah, he just looks. Vince has just given himself 2 or 3 overs today to just find his range.
Yeah, I think underlining the importance of the game. as here he just flicks one away nicely into the onside, probably just for a single, but it completes a very good over for Vince personally and for the Hampshire openers. 41 without loss after 5, so certainly I think we can say that Hampshire will be slightly the happier of the two at this point. But in the end, Snater bowling that third over didn't quite work out. Maybe it'll be a delay before he bowls his last one. None for 31 in 3.
Well, most of the shots there from Vince found the middle of the bat. I know he'll be happy with that. He'll be feeling pretty good with himself out there. Charlie Bennett is the new bowler, just 20 years of age. Now, he's got a bit of pace about him here, Nick, hasn't he?
Absolutely. And he has been absolutely key in Essex getting to this stage, because they needed a young bowler to sort of really come through. They've signed Zaman Akhtar, who's done okay, but Bennett's probably gone ahead of him, certainly by virtue of his selection now on the side, and he's got 16 wickets.
Right arm over, runs away from us and bowls to Vince. Just a length ball, a quick single out on the leg side. These two really do just take off the minute the ball is defended away. Always looking for a single, keeps the scoreboard ticking along there. 43 without loss in the last over of the power play.
Yeah, so Bennett has been really important, because Essex just needed that third seamer, if you like, to become a real banker alongside the likes of Snater and Cook, given, of course, they've got the strength in the spin department already.
Albert has 15, faces the next delivery from Bennett, past the umpire and bowls. Length ball, worked up to mid-on. The throw will come in, but he's home. Again, that's really good running. Charlie Allison it is there at mid-on. It was to his right-hand side. 43 without loss. Albert 16 from 16. Vince 26 from 16. Hampshire, remember, they lost the toss. They were asked to bat first on a wicket that was used on Saturday in the T20 International. Half the temporary seating has disappeared from this ground away to our left. That's the Bowen, which is between where we are and the nursery ground. The other half of the seats are still here as that's pulled away. Helped away on the leg side. That was always 4 runs from the minute that Vince finished that pull shot. 2 leg side is there from Bennett. Vince moves on to 30, 47 without loss, halfway through the 6th.
Well, goes without saying that Vince, of course, has got history against Essex in these games, and if he were to make a big contribution here, it's really going to set up a platform, particularly for the likes of Cartwright. And of course, May's looking in good form.
Yeah, the last 6 meetings between these two, Hampshire have won in this competition. As in comes Bennett again, length ball driven by Vince, straight down the ground, chase on for Harmer. He's not going to win that. And Vince is just looking pretty good out there. I've hesitated to say that. Nick, did you notice that?
Yeah, I mean, there was that one shot that was a bit too close to Matt Critchley for comfort, but what has struck me is the way he's just played himself in, as you said a little while ago.
He didn't do it on the other Friday, did he?
No, and he went for it from the word go.
Yeah.
And I think Hampshire that game is so recent that it must be so fresh in the mind. We made 130. If we got 175 there, we might have been right in the game on a pitch offering a bit to the bowlers.
Bennett in again to Vince. Plays and misses. That's the first play and miss in this game. 51 without loss, Hampshire. We've got 2 balls left of the power play.
And at the moment, the way the pitch is played, most of what's been going for the seamers has been movement, a bit of swing for Cook. But it doesn't appear to be a lot in the pitch for the seamers, and that was, of course, the case on Saturday as well in that huge scoring T20 game, which is the same pitch.
Certainly is. Dead centre here at the Utilita. 17 off the last over. Currently there's 10 off this as Bennett bowls. That's a good length ball. And he's only half fielded that. Vince wanted a single. There was never one there. Albert was never going to run on that one. That's the power play then. Hampshire 51 without loss.
And yeah, certainly the ground is gradually, I say, it's not going to get much more than 2,500, as you say, Kevin, but looking at the Shane Warne stand, it's actually a good few more there now than when we last mentioned. So, and word might get round that Hampshire have made a decent start, and anyone quite close to the ground might want to pop along. But 51 for no wicket after 6 overs. No question that Hampshire will be the happier of the two, but Essex might feel, if this pitch retains its character, obviously if it does get more difficult later on, it might suggest that they would have been better off batting first. But Simon Harmer has had a very good campaign. He's taken 12 wickets, but his economy rate at 6.6 has been perhaps the real highlight. Just 6.6 runs per over, and that's very good in T20.
He only bowled the one over on Friday, didn't he? Couldn't be bothered to bowl anymore.
No, I think 7 bowlers have been used before he bowled.
Yeah.
But he's taking it upon himself to bowl a bit earlier today. So, Albert on 16 has been watching Vince, really, from the non-striker's end for the last few minutes. And here is Harmer going around the wicket to bowl to Albert, who'll just play that back into the onside. Harmer has to make a stretch to prevent that going up towards long on for a single, and he duly does. He fields it himself. So there's a dot ball. Albert on 16, 51 for no wicket. And this one is a little bit flatter and driven away by Albert towards deep mid-wicket. Initially might have been trying to hit it into more of a gap out towards long on, but might have given him 2, but he'll have to settle for 1, and that puts Vince back on strike. Interesting to see Vince's approach now against Harmer. There's a long on and a long off and a deep cover and a deep mid-wicket and a deep backward square leg. There's this one. Vince plays with a great circumspection and just tidily plays it back down the pitch, and Harmer fields in his follow-through, and just 1 run from the first 3 balls of Harmer's opening over. Essex could do with a wicket, but failing that, some tight overs would help. Here's Harmer again, bowls a flatter one, and again, Vince just coming forward and playing it away into the onside, but not out of the reach of Harmer, who just goes across to his right to complete the fielding. So 5 on the boundary now, outside of the power play, 4 saving 1, short fine leg, the only leg side one saver. This one is
Wide.
a wide down the leg side. Vince was looking to flick it away, but anything, of course, going down the leg side, he will get a.
Harmer doesn't like it.
Well, it's obviously not. If it wasn't going to hit the stump, it's going to be a wide, isn't it? I suppose the Harmer's. Obviously, I don't think it was that far away from leg stump, but it was going down the leg side. Here's Harmer again, bowls to Vince. That one held back a little bit, and Vince plays away off the back foot, but no more than a single, I think, out towards Luke Benkenstein at a deep backward point, and a nice throw into the gloves of Jordan Cox. He's had a strange sort of season. Spent a lot more time on the bench for various sides than he has been out in the middle, but he'll be hoping to take an opportunity today. It could be, but Essex will need him to, depending on how many Hampshire get. As this is played away by Albert, again, largely with caution, away into the onside. Good over from Harmer. There were 3 singles and the wide, and 55 for no wicket. That's improved Harmer's economy rate for the season even more. So he's got 1 over for 4. It's 55 for no wicket after 7.
Good variation of pace as well from Harmer during that over. There was about 14 or 15 miles an hour difference between the quickest ball in that over and the slowest, which for a spinner is quite a bit. Another change of bowling. Well, we might as well all go home now because Matt Critchley's on. So the game's over, I'm afraid, everybody. He 4 for 16 on Friday night.
I think it was 3 for 16 against Surrey.
Surrey, yeah. Wickets in the championship game here as well. He picked up 5 for 9 when Hampshire followed on in April. He only bowled 3 balls in the first innings of Hampshire, and he picked up a wicket then as well. So here he is with his leg spin and bowls. It's a low full toss, and that's driven by Albert down the ground and fielded at deep mid on by Michael Pepper.
Well, Hampshire will feel they're fairly safe if he doesn't land it, which he didn't on that occasion, but I think he'll probably land the next one.
Yes.
But now he's had a terrific season against Hampshire, and I say the fact that he has, just improved and improved as a spinner, particularly in this format.
That's a full delivery, not quite a full toss this time though, as Vince drives it out to deep mid off. He just looks a confident player now, just the way he's bowling. His action looks really, really smooth.
Strange thing is he had a pretty quiet tournament up until that game on Friday. Less than 100 runs, and just 6 wickets, and it's all changed around for him.
We'll always play people into form, no problems with that. He's playing a missing outside the off stump to a good length ball there, Toby Albert. The front foot was way down the leg side as he was trying to hit that through the off. He's 19 from 21. Vince is 36 from 24. Hampshire 57 without loss. Halfway through over number 8. Matt Critchley, the leg spinner from our commentary end, the hotel end, as he bowls. And he's given himself a lot of room there Albert works it wider mid-off. They should pick up a comfortable 2. It's unusual seeing Michael Pepper in the outfield and not with the gloves on. Haven't seen that for a while. You will have seen it many times. I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, because Cox hasn't actually played that often for Essex, we don't see it see it that frequently. But no, but that's the way it goes. Pepper is in the outfield on these occasions.
Critchley in again, and he's tried to swat that away on the offside, misses.
It remains to be seen what happens in the championship if Cox is available. I'm saying if Cox is available, because Pepper has been very short of championship runs this season, and the feeling is that in the championship it's entirely possible that Cox could take Pepper's place as the keeper.
It's pulled that away on the leg side. There is a deep mid-wicket. Now they pick the ball up now. They only run 1. That's very quick fielding there on the leg side by who's that? Shane Snater. He's usually mid-wicket. I remember on Friday night got a couple of catches at Chelmsford down there at deep mid-wicket. What are they doing? Throwing a few T-shirts in the crowd. Few yellow T-shirts have been. I'll tell you what, they won't need too many T-shirts here at the moment. I think you've got a fair chance of picking one up at the moment. T20 Blast T-shirts being thrown to the crowd. 60 without loss, Akon.
But 2 good overs in a row for Essex, with Critchley and Harmer, just the 9 runs between them. I wonder how much Hampshire might miss Liam Dawson later, if this pitch is offering something for the spinners. 60 for no wicket. And we're into the 9th, and this is Albert looking to try to force the pace. He's hit that one up towards long off, and he's going to be caught. Well, he was looking to force the pace. Harmer had bowled a very tight opening over there, and on that occasion he backed away and looked to try and clear the boundary at long off. But that wicket was produced really as the catch was taken by the pressure that had been built up in the previous couple of overs, and Noah Fane was there and he judged it pretty comfortably, just had to wait for the ball to come down, and that wicket for me brought about by that little bit of pressure created by the 9 runs in the previous 2 overs. So the end of Albert, but a good opening partnership, 60 for 1, and Joe Wedderley, who's of course the Hampshire leading run scorer, coming in to join James Vince, and of course still plenty of batting to come, but Essex will be relieved to have made that breakthrough.
Yeah, 382 in 12 innings so far this season. Not far off actually his best season. Not too many runs away, about 30 all told. Striking at 148 this year. He strikes at 131 career. So again, he's another Hampshire batter that has been scoring a little quicker than normal. I think Toby Albert always knew he hadn't quite got hold of that. Just the way he was watching the fly to the ball, he knew that there was a fair chance that that was going to be taken and it wasn't going to reach the rope.
Yep. So Harmer has done the trick. His 13th wicket of the campaign, and Joe Wedderley is at the crease. 60 for 1, just coming into the 9th over. I wonder what Hampshire will be thinking of here. 180 I would have thought, but still got plenty of batting to come. That might be their minimum target, but they've obviously got to keep wickets in hand. Harmer bowls, and Wedderley gets a good delivery here, which he just comes forward and plays defensively. And they're treating Harmer with a lot of respect. Back in the day, when he was new to the Essex side, as Harmer bowls, and this is played away into the onside. So around about 2017, for example, he immediately hit the ground as a superb spinner in terms of wickets in championship cricket. But it could be quite expensive in shorter formats, but not anymore. This one, again, is just played away into the offside. There will be a run this time after the 2 dot balls. So wicket ... 1, as that's played away out towards deep point. But it's another very good over this for Essex after the 2 tight overs. Just a single from the 4 balls of this one so far. So 61 for 1. That run for Wedderley gives Vince the strike. Long on, long off, waiting for any big hit, deep mid wicket, deep backward square leg and deep cover. This one, he looks to work it away into the onside, and it comes off a leading edge. Falls well short of Critchley at cover, but again, indication that there's a bit in it for the spinners. Obviously, it's a used pitch, and Harmer looking very difficult to deal with at the moment. And Vince therefore plays a no-risk shot, just going onto the back foot and steering it away, square into the onside. Charlie Bennett moves around from short fine leg. He can't prevent the single, but it's just 2 runs from that over, so I reckon that's 11 from the last 3. And a wicket, so it's been a good fight back by Essex. Hampshire 62 for 1 after 9.
Well, just to emphasise what you're saying about Simon Harmer, over 230 odd matches T20, his economy rate is just over 7.5. This year, it's just over 6.5.
Yeah.
So he's even more miserly. There's a retro Hampshire one-day shirt there in the crowd.
He's had a fantastic season, Harmer, and I think he very much enjoys the leadership role in the shorter form, and he obviously has had a very good campaign with the bat as well. And it might be, if Essex go all the way in this competition, he's going to have to play at least one more important innings with the bat.
Critchley bowls to Vince, who's off the back foot and works that to backward a point. He's 3 or 4 paces down the wicket, sent back by Weatherly.
So these two are proving a very effective combination for Essex at the moment, particularly with Critchley starting to take wickets.
Just hope that Vince doesn't look to do something silly here, as he just works it away on the onside for a single. 63 for 1. Meagre pickings at the moment with these two spinners are on.
Yes, of course, the one attempt really to hit the ball down the ground was the shot from Albert, which got him out, which he didn't really quite get hold of.
Just bowling tightly. There doesn't seem to be too much in this pitch for the spinners. They're just bowling a very tight line. Critchley may just get in the odd one to grip, but no more. Harmer's just bowling arrow straight. That's outside the off stump. Having said that, not called a wide though, left alone by Weatherly. Sorry, James Vince it is. No, it is Weatherly, yeah. Forget what's on your screen, everybody. It's Joe Weatherly facing. As Critchley bowls. Weatherly drives in the air. Is this going to be caught at deep mid-off, or has it gone over his head? Just! That's a better strike. Just over the rope, and is that Michael Pepper just down here to our right?
Yes. Wasn't far away from that, was he? As he stretched his outstretched right hand, the ball was probably already heading over the rope, but just shows you how much of a calculated shot it is to try and hit these two down the ground.
68 for 1. Here's Critchley again, bowls, and Weatherly drives, and it's gone through extra cover. That's a beautifully timed shot. Simon Harmer in the vicinity. I thought initially he'd gone straight to his hands. He made that sort of mock gesture as if he'd taken the catch, but that was well to his right. Weatherly, with 10 runs off the last 2 balls, has just eased things a little bit for Hampshire. You do wonder, with the way these two spinners are bowling, that the batters are going to have to take a little bit more of a calculated risk. And it's come off so far for Joe Weatherly, who's 11 from 6. Here's Critchley again, bowls, and Weatherly drives down the ground. This is perfectly safe, and that's 1 bounce for 4, right below us.
Yeah, well, this is certainly helping Hampshire, isn't it? Because we had that run of, 3 overs and 3 balls, where there'd been, I think, about 12 runs. But the end of that over has been very different, with that sudden explosion of runs from Weatherly. And he's got a 6 and 2 fours, hasn't he, there? So he's gone along to 15, and that has just released the stranglehold that the two spinners had established. There was an element of risk about the 6th, but some good shots that followed there from Weatherly. And so it's just got Hampshire sort of back into a position I think that they'll be comfortable with in relation to runs against overs. 77 for 1 after 10. So they'll be looking to add at least another 100 to that. Yes, Harmer will bowl, and down the pitch comes Vince, and with a twirl of the bat, he sends it away towards deep mid-wicket for a single. So Vince, 39 from 29. Had that 1 over where he hit 4 boundaries. Otherwise, you'd say he's probably played with himself, but he's looking to play the long anchor role here, and he's doing it pretty well so far. Weatherly on 15 at 78 for 1. Hampshire asked to bat here at the Utilita Bowl in this quarter-final, as that's played away towards deep mid-wicket for a single by Weatherly. Nick Gledhill with Kevin James. And we're on BBC Radio Solent and BBC Essex online, via the BBC Sport website and app, via the Hampshire picture feed. We're also on 5 Sports Extra 3 at this juncture. Here's Harmer with a flatter one, and that's played away quite nicely, but only out towards deep backward point. They're going to think of a second run, decide against it. Not going to take on Benkenstein's arm, and it's just the 1 run. And Harmer, I think, has not conceded. I can't remember conceded more than a single. Might be wrong, but he's been Don't think Essex will be too disappointed. Kevin, it's still...
I agree. I don't think either side will feel that things have either got too far ahead or too far behind. I think it's Hampshire would settle for this, for sure. Toby Albert's 22 off 25 balls with 3 fours. Just a reminder, no Liam Dawson, who was named in the squad for this game, but England didn't release him for this one. And he's too valuable with a bat.
I was surprised when Cox didn't play against Hampshire and then didn't play here.
He didn't, did he?
Although he wouldn't have actually got much of a knock, actually, the way it turned out.
That's right. Luke Benkenstein is on with his leg breaks from our commentary end, and that's worked up to mid-on by Joe Weatherly, and the two batters stroll through for a single. Hampshire move on to 84 for 1 in the 12th.
Hitting Critchley out of the attack is certainly a first for Hampshire.
Well, it is, yes. Finally, Hampshire found a way through Matt Critchley, either with ball or bat, as Benkenstein bowls us down the leg side, swept away by Vince. Hasn't really got hold of that. I think that's come off the pad.
Be annoyed with himself
he's
there,
missed
Vince.
out there. Be interested to see how Hampshire play this, really, because I think, from my point of view, ideally Vince bats 20 overs and everybody else bats around him. Don't put Vince under too much pressure. He's going along nicely here. He's playing very sensibly. He's playing with a lot of thought as he pulls that away down to deep backward square for a single. You can tell he wants to score here. You can tell he wants Hampshire to do well. Sometimes you just feel he walks out there and he plays the odd wafty shot and gets out early, but you can just tell he's really knuckling down here. Wants Hampshire to get through to another finals day as Benkenstein bowls. Little short, pulled away by Weatherly down to deep mid-on. Noah Thane is the fielder just to our right.
Benkenstein has played more of a support role as a spinner, but he's developing nicely into a batting all-rounder in this format.
Son of Dale Benkenstein, former Hampshire head coach here. That's pulled away, and that will be 6, is it? What's the umpire signaling for? That was a little too short. Gave Vince plenty of time to pick the gap on the leg side. And Vince moves on to 45. Or was it 46? I think it's 46 actually on the scoreboard. Hampshire on to 90 for 1. We've got 1 ball left of the 12th over. Benkenstein in again. It's a bit fuller, predictably, and he's dropped an extra cover by Simon Harmer, and that's not hard at all. Harmer's bent down on one knee. He can't quite believe he's dropped it. I don't think I can believe he's dropped it. Certainly James Vince won't believe it, and he's been given a life.
Yeah, bad luck Benkenstein, because he drew Vince into the full shot there, and I haven't seen Essex drop a catch for quite a long time in this competition this season. They've been very good in the games that I've seen recently, and that came as a bit of a surprise all round. Well, that could be something that Essex will come to regret, but Simon Harmer's thinking will be, well, I might be able to get him out with the ball instead, and that could be immediate redress.
I mean, Harmer would take that 99 times out of 100.
He's a very solid
That's not
fielder.
difficult at all, is it?
Maybe it's the old thing, Kevin, about the captain thinking about what he's going to do next.
Yeah.
And you get the catch coming, and just that one extra responsibility the captain's got. In fact, he's not going to bowl himself out here. He's going to bring in Paul Walter, who's making occasional appearances with the ball. I think to surprise the batting side as much as anything else. Don't tend to see him bowl more than 1 or 2 overs an innings. He doesn't really bowl now in red ball cricket. But he still plays a part with the white ball.
He always seems to come on when Essex needs something to happen. I always get the feeling, certainly against Hampshire, he seems to come on when...
It's always a surprise when he does, but he can be quite effective. Got this quite long approach, left arm seam. Up to the wicket, he bowls, and that's driven away without too much timing by Weatherly. Quick single stumps comes in, but no problem for Vince getting in.
Harmer's thrown at Vince's end as well, the far end. He's still smarting. I don't blame him. I think he'll be smarting all game from dropping that catch. Whether Essex win this or not, he'll be thinking, how on earth have I dropped that?
13th over. So Hampshire, I think, looking to at least double this. 91 for 1. Used pitch. But it was a very good pitch when first used. It was the T20 game, the Brooke Butler pitch on Saturday. 2 short thirds, a cover, a wide mid-off, and nobody saving one on the leg side as this is hit down the ground. And he stretches out a hand here, does Walter. I wonder if it was in the air, and the chance when it got to him, they'd gone through for a single. Certainly a bit of a miscue, that, when it was played by Vince. And it was parried by Walter, slightly involuntary fashion. Away towards the mid-on area, and they've got through for 1. So Vince just lost his timing a little bit at the moment. He's just playing the shot he wanted to now at the non-striker's end, but he's gone to 47. He's still there. Weatherly's on 21. It's 92 for 1. And here's one that's just back of a length and pulled around the corner down towards deep backward square for a single. And that takes Weatherly along to 22. Scoreboard very quick here, updating things. 93 for 1. So just the 1 wicket to go. And it was Toby Albert, caught at long off, trying to go on the attack against Simon Harmer after a couple of very tight overs that just tied Hampshire down. Here's Walter again from the pavilion there, bowls, and Vince here with a clubbing pull drive, sends it away, looking for the second run. This is going to be tight if it's a good throw. The bells are whipped off, but he's home is Weatherly at the non-striker's end. Again, not timed that from Vince. It was a sort of pull drive. It was collected by long on and got back for the second run with Weatherly running to the danger end. 95 for 1 and Vince 49.
Weatherly was quick over the second half of that second run, over the last 10 yards. Yeah. My word, he was quick.
95 for 1, all 4 games being played simultaneously now, though the Northants one started half an hour later. Here's Walter again, bowls, and that's hit away in the air and safe, and it goes away to the long leg boundary for Vince's 50 from 38 balls.
Now, James Vince is playing his 230th game for Hampshire today, and that is his half-century of half-centuries in T20 cricket. That's his 50th score of 50 or more in T20 cricket for Hampshire.
9 fours, and once he had cleared Bennett at short fine leg, that wasn't going to be stopped. Boundary fielders a deep backward square leg, deep mid wicket, long on, long off, and point. Sweeper position on the offside. There are 2 short third men. As this one, Vince will hit away uppishly, but safe. That's going to go away down towards the backward point boundary and goes for 4. Just delayed the shot there, Vince. And again, he had those 2 short thirds to think about, but he managed to hit it wide of them. And just when Essex were thinking they might be tying Hampshire down, a little flurry of boundaries, and the Hampshire 100 comes up at the end of the 13th over. Latest from Trent Bridges, not 65 for 2 against Surrey, with Jack Haynes 37 not out. And here, Hampshire 103 for 1 after 13 overs.
Yeah, just starting to get into another gear here as well. Helped by that drop catch by Simon Harmer off James Vince at extra cover. Not a difficult catch at all. And yeah, again, I think Hampshire now are starting to feel they're in a really good position. I think Essex will be a little worried now, a little bit more worried. Definitely the Critchley-Harmer partnership worked well for a while. As Benkenstein bowls, it's hammered away off the back foot in the air, but safe down to deep mid-off by Joe Weatherly, who moves on to 23. Hampshire 104 for 1.
7 overs to go, including this one. Hampshire will just be 9 wickets in hand, so they really have got the licence to sort of put the foot down early here, haven't they? With plenty of batting in the bank.
It's hammered away, but not really timed by Vince. Rolls along the ground out to deep square leg. Surely they're not going to take 2. They are. And Vince is going to get home, actually. I'm quite surprised. I think the fielder actually was slightly off balanced. I think the batters realised that. Thought that might have been a tighter second run than I thought.
I think it's Bennett out there and didn't quite get to it quickly enough to stop the second, which in the end was achieved fairly comfortably.
106 for 1 in the 14th over. Vince is 59. Weatherly is 23. As Benkenstein bowls to Vince once more. Vince pulls that away in the air, but safe. It's going over mid-wicket's head, and that's gone for 6. Away to our right here, about 3 or 4 rows back. 2 short again from Benkenstein. That's the 50 partnership between these two, and that's come up off 32 balls.
Yeah, I think they've realised that they can now attack. You know, we've got 9 wickets in hand. Vince is still there. This will be calculated aggression, but they're going to want to get this way past 180 with 9 wickets in hand, you feel.
112 for 1. Benkenstein with his leg breaks in again, bowls, and Vince hammers that length ball away to the leg side along the ground. Well, it bounces a bit anyway. It bounces a few times before it reaches Snater. just in from the rope, and he moves on to 66 now, Vince, and it's 113 for 1. We've got 2 balls left of the 14th over to go. Benkenstein from our commentary end bowls again, and full delivery to Weatherly, who drives along the ground up to deep mid-on, and that's fielded by Noah Thane.
Sometimes a side can make what looks a good score, having not lost many wickets, and then suddenly finds myself losing. I saw a women's game recently where Surrey made 184 for 4 in 20 overs, and Essex won with 9 wickets and 5 balls to spare, and Surrey clearly left runs out there.
Benkenstein bowls almost a Yorker, and Vince somehow squeezes the angle to short third man. He will keep the strike at the end of that over. 14 gone. Hampshire in this quarter-final tie are 115 for 1.
And possibly the tie of the round, if there is one, because it's Yorkshire and Somerset. Somerset, of course, who came on strong in the second half of the group phase. I think they won their last 4 games in a row. And interesting game, that one, because Yorkshire 99 for 3, just coming into the 13th. And Adam Lyth is 62 not out from 37 balls. Bairstow has gone for 1 and Moeen Ali for a duck. But Adam Lyth has been key to Yorkshire's success, and he is playing a key role there. That, I think, is going to build up into being a very good game indeed. It's looking pretty good, I have to say, early on for Northants, because Gloucestershire in that 5 o'clock start are 24 for 3. 2 wickets for Sanderson. And so Northants, that is going according to the seeding, really, because Northants top seeds, Gloucester the lowest seed. So Northants, I think, wanting to use that home advantage. They did lose twice to Somerset, but towards the end of the campaign, they really had done the job already, and there would have been perhaps just a drop in performance level, but back into how they've been playing through the group. 6 overs to go, 115 for 1. Here is Harmer's last over, and this is hit away down towards short fine leg, and well stopped by Bennett. That possibly saves 3 extra runs. It is going to be a single, but he got across to that pretty well and just restricts Vince to 1. Vince on 68. Weatherly on 24 has to strike, 116 for 1.
Still never conceded more than a single, Simon Harmer.
How long will that go on for? Second ball of this over, and this is driven away, and it's stopped by Harmer in his follow through. It's been a tremendous spell. It's 1 for 13 in 3 overs and 2 balls.
He's been terrific, hasn't he, really? It's just no angle. You can't find an angle, and then when you try to, it's the quicker one, and he's so clever.
He's bowling to Weatherly on 24. That one's a flatter one. Hit away by Weatherly. That's going to be a few more, I think. It's cleared long on. That was the first thing that Weatherly would have been worried about. And once it had cleared long on, it was going to clear the rope as well for 6. That breaks the run of singles. I think that's something Hampshire really had to do against Harmer, and they've done it. 122 for 1.
Well, I think they can afford to do it. With 9 wickets in hand here, and we're halfway through the 15th. Unlike the other night at Chelsea, they just didn't have any wickets to play with to do anything.
Here's Harmer again, bowls, and Weatherly goes for a big clubbing drive. That's a superb looking shot. That's very straight, and it's gone for 6, and it's probably gone up into the Bransgrove Pavilion. It was brilliantly hit. Not sure if it sort of bounced off the sight screen or gone higher than that, but a magnificent shot. That's probably the shot of the day from Joe Weatherly. 36 from 19, back-to-back 6s off Simon Harmer.
Well, I think his numbers 1 and 2 are the shots in this innings so far.
Absolutely.
Superb timing.
That really was a terrific shot. Got to the pitch of it and hit it very, very straight. I think it did go into the black tarpaulin at the far end in front of the pavilion. But 1.66, different over here for Harmer. He goes around the wicket and bowls, and Weatherly will hit this one along the ground. That's going up towards a deep cover boundary. Is it going to be stopped? No. 6-6-4, and Hampshire right on the attack now with all these wickets in hand. 132 for 1, and really Hampshire should be looking at close to 200 here. That's going to be on a used pitch, quite a difficult target to overcome. Harmer bowls again to Weatherly on 40 from 20. Weatherly hits this one away. This could be caught. A deep backward square leg fielder coming in, and it's dropped. It'll be at least 2. 2 other fielders converging on it. They've taken the second, and that is all that it will be. It wasn't a particularly easy chance by any stretch of the imagination. Fielder rushing in, and in the end looking to take it very, very low. I think it's Charlie Allison there. He got hands to it, but he was going to the ground as he tried to catch it. It spilled out of his hands, and they got back for a couple of runs. In the end, a very good over that against Harmer, who finishes with 1 for 31 in 4. That's 15 overs gone, 5 to go. Hampshire 134 for 1, Weatherly 42. Vince had to strike on 68.
19 off that Simon Harmer over. Wow, what a complete contrast to the previous 3. And that's a sign that Hampshire can really go for it now. They can afford to really go for the risky shots now. They've got plenty of wickets in hand. They've got 1 or 2 batters in form from Sunday night in Hilton Cartwright and Ben Mays. So plenty to come. Chat now between Critchley and Harmer as Critchley comes back into the attack. 2 overs, none for 20 for the leg spinner.
Well,
134
they could do with a wicket, Essex, now.
Certainly can. 68 to Vince, 42 Joe Weatherly. These two came together when the score was 60. As off the back foot is Vince. Stroked majestically through extra cover for 4. To Harmer's left-hand side. It was very, very well timed. It was a proper cricket shot. And Vince moves on to 72 here off just 45 deliveries.
I think if Essex were offered 190 now, they'd probably take it.
Yeah. Critchley then. 138 for 1. Critchley bowls short. Pulled away in the air. Has it gone over mid-on? Yes, it has. And that is 6 runs. That's right out of the middle of the bat. Quite high over the head of Noah Thane. It's one of those shots where you think, has he got enough on it? And the ball just kept going.
Still looks a very good pitch, this, the Saturday T20 pitch. Question will be, will it deteriorate at all in the next innings? Essex is thinking clearly on winning with toss and choosing to field was that it wouldn't. We shall see. But much as England enjoyed themselves through Brook and Butler, these two are doing similar business.
144 for 1. We are in the 16th over. Currently, Hampshire's James Vince's second highest score of the season. 84 against Kent at Canterbury is his top score so far this season, is outside the off stump. Vince plays and misses, trying to cut that away on the offside. Only, in my mind, the second shot that he's played and missed in his innings of 47 balls.
Just wondering if that was just a bit of a variation from Critchley trying to slip the googly in, maybe.
Critchley in again. Bowls. Again, it's short. It's hammered with a flat bat down the ground. 4 more off the bat of James Vince, who moves on to 82.
Well, Essex are going to have to bat well here, but the first thing is to try to just take a couple of wickets just to break the momentum.
Hampshire having it all their own way here. As Critchley bowls again, Vince tries a slog sweep on the leg side, doesn't get hold of that. Fortunately, the ball bobbles away harmlessly on the leg side for a single. 83 now for Vince, and Hampshire 149 for 1. Last ball of the 16th over coming up.
The end of Critchley's third. He's been a bit more expensive than usual, and certainly than recently.
Very unpredictable T20 cricket, as we know. That's cut away by Weatherly, finds backward a point, goes straight to the fielder, Paul Walter, and that's a dot ball to end the over. So 16 overs gone, we've got 4 to do. Hampshire, having been put into bat, going along very nicely at 149 for 1.
Toby Albert was out when the score was on 60. He was caught at long off by Thane, off Harmer for 22. Harmer has bowled out 1 for 31 in 4 overs. Bennett's only bowled 1 over. I think he's going to come on now. Snater has 1 to go. Cook has 2. 2 overs for 10. That could be important for Essex. So I think we can say certainly Cook will bowl 2 of the remaining overs. And well, Snater and Bennett could potentially bowl 1 each. That might be the thinking, maybe depending on how Bennett goes in this over. But you would have thought it would be Cook for 17 and 19. Or in fact, if it's going to be Bennett now, it'll be 18 and 20, won't it? Because this is the 17th over. So it's going to be Bennett now, but I think we can more or less assume that Cook will bowl 2 of the remaining overs. So Bennett with 1 over for 10, which is exactly his exact economy rate already for the campaign. He comes in to bowl, and this is going to be 4 runs to Vince. I think he was trying initially to hit it away through mid-wicket, but it's gone down backward a square on the onside, and he collects 4. He's on course for 100 here, James Vince. 87 from 50 at a strike rate of 174.
Well, Hampshire won earlier in this competition with a score of 200 for 4. Essex replied with 170 for 7.
I'll certainly be looking to get close to that, or more or less up alongside it maybe with these wickets in hand. Certainly be looking for 12s and 14s for each over. Vince on strike on 87, facing Bennett, and Vince cracks that one away up towards deep mid-wicket. It bounces before it reaches the field. It's going to give it the 1 run. Didn't quite time that one as he would have wanted to, but he hasn't found the fielder on the full, so he stays. He's got a single to his name. He goes to 88. He'll certainly get 100 if he bats, if he gets to that point and bats through, because there's still plenty of time to go. 154 for 1 with Weatherly 42 and the partnership on 94. Another sunny, warm evening. Bit of cloud, bit of high cloud around, but more or less the same as it was when these two sides met in both the previous group games. Here is Bennett from the pavilion end. Up to the wicket, he bowls, and this one's going down the leg side. It's helped down towards fine leg. It will be stopped. There's just the one run. Cook is there, and no signal from the umpire, so there was some bat on that from Weatherly. 43 to him. Vince back on strike with 88. 155 for 1. We have 3 balls left of the 17th over.
You've got to virtually swing every ball here.
Yeah.
So many wickets in hand at this stage. I think Hampshire were very nearly bowled out a few nights ago at Chelmsford by now.
Yeah. Extraordinary contrast, but very different pitch as Bennett comes in to bowl. This is hit by Vince, and it's gone over deep mid wicket, and that is going to be 6. And you might just have felt that they hadn't quite taken advantage of this over in the way that they could have done, but that 6 has just redressed the balance a little bit, and that will bring up the 100 partnership between Vince and Weatherly. Vince has just had the lion's share with 58 to his name in that time, but it's been a terrific combination between the two, and that 6 takes it to 161 for 1 in the 17th. Here is Bennett again. 2 balls left of this over. Bowls to Vince, and Vince will pick this up, and he'll hit it away for at least 4. Yeah, it's bounced before the boundary. Goes down towards the long leg boundary, just really hitting that off length. And of course, the freedom now with Vince, of course, very, very firmly established at the crease. He's seeing it like the proverbial football. There's not an awful lot that Charlie Bennett can do. He is pretty good at varying his pace. He's got to try and think of everything that's available to him. I suspect this will probably be his last ball with Snater with an over left and Cook with 2, but 4-1-1-6. Certainly a bit of damage done. But I suppose it's what you expect with 9 wickets in hand. He's up to the wicket, he bowls again, and Vince hits one down the ground. It's going up towards the long on boundary, and it will just beat the fielder, and it goes away for 6. One point I thought the fielder there long on was trying to stop the ball just going over the boundary on the bounce, but in fact it's cleared the boundary and gone for 6 and taken Vince to 153.
Well, the salute that he gave the Hampshire dugout there says it all. Dropped on 46 by Simon Harmer. What an expensive drop. That is James Vince's 6th T20 100 for Hampshire, and only his 8th overall. And he's played 483 matches before today, so a big 100 for James Vince. We did say at the start that he looked like he was looking to play a major innings here, and with the help of Simon Harmer, he's done just that.
Yeah, it just shows. It seems to be, even England did it, I think, in one of the T20s. Salt and Butler were sort of playing themselves in. It seems to be, on a big occasion, just take your time, just take a few deliveries just to play in. Now it is going to be Cook.
Runs away from us and bowls. That's a cut away by Joe Weatherly, who's playing very much a supporting role here as Vince ups the run rate seemingly over by over. And Weatherly moves on to 44. He's played a really good part in this, though. 24 balls from him. 172 for 1 at the start of the 18th.
Well, they really should be able to emulate that score they got in the group match here. Looking for something even a bit beyond 200, maybe, particularly if this pair can stay together.
Cook, who's bowled, 13 balls for 11. That's way outside the off stump, and the umpire signals are wide.
Yeah, I can see Cook's thinking, trying to just, he's got a man on the boundary for cover there, at square cover, but it was a bit too wide, unfortunately, so that ball has to be bowled again. Yes, it's going to need a good Essex batting performance, but do have Cox. Got Pepper and Water in decent form. Allison also.
Going to need all of that. There's Cook comes in again and bowls. It's way outside off stump. That's a bigger wide. He's obviously trying to cut the ball. The fingers down the seam there a little bit. Doesn't quite got it right. I think the trumpeter's got a bit of work to do here because it's not the biggest crowd I've seen for T20 cricket.
No, I mean, it's sort of built up a little bit, but I wonder if we might get a few more in the next half hour or so. Yeah, but just gone 5:30.
Might have sore lips by the time he whips this crowd into shape. There's Cook runs away from us again and bowls to Vince. That's full. Vince works it away square on the offside. Fielder's out in the deep. Turned blind there, Vince, looking for 2. Weatherly was having none of it. 175 for 1 in the 18th.
Yeah, I mean, Vince again has showed his class, and obviously these are now briefer returns to the Hampshire ranks than when he was playing Championship cricket as well. Maybe he could do a deal with Ben Stokes. If you play in the 50 overs, I will. Wouldn't surprise me if Stokes suddenly turns up in that.
I think he's due to play his first game, isn't he, since his retirement? That's a short ball, cut in the air. I think he's going to be safe here, Weatherly, as the ball bounces away at point. Vince is almost run out there, running for second. Have to worry he doesn't pull a hamstring there. He looked like he was just labouring a bit on that second run, running towards the near end, and he just drops his gloves. I think he's going to buy himself a minute or so here as we all wait for the next ball. 177 for 1 with 3 balls left of over number 18.
Yeah, I think he's okay. Hampshire supporters will certainly be hoping so, should they get to the final, but he's done a very good job today.
Certainly has. Yeah. Just to repeat, his 6th Hampshire score of 100 plus. As Cook bowls, called extra cover, and this time Harmer does hold on to it. And that's the end of Joe Weatherly trying to hit that good length ball over the top. Didn't quite get enough leverage on it, but he goes for a very, very well compiled 46 from 26. And Hampshire have lost their 2nd wicket, and the score's just disappeared off the screen. I think it's 175.
Who comes in next? Cartwright?
Well, it's pretty fluid. I would say Hilton probably, Ben Mays maybe.
Right.
It could be one of the two, but I would have thought the experience might be Hilton Cartwright. I think you're right.
Well, Sam Cook, despite the 2 wides, just retained, it might seem odd given he bowled 2 wides, but he's just regained a little bit of control. Because apart from the 2 wides, just 2 singles of 2 and then the wicket. And it is going to be Hilton Cartwright to see if he can just produce a sample size of what he produced at Hove on Sunday when he was banging form.
Yeah, well, he hit his first ball for 6.
Got runs, of course, in the previous fixture here, in tandem with Tristan Stubbs. So it's going to be Cook to bowl to Cartwright. Very noisy PA system, much noisier than the crowd itself, which is growing, but it's still what you call a pretty good Championship crowd. It's probably got a little bit better than that now, to be honest. But it's only going to be a couple of thousand in the ground, much less than would normally be the case if it had been an evening game. So Cook gets his first wicket. Cartwright has the strike. And Cartwright will go onto the back foot and just try and work it away into the offside. Gets very little bat on that at all, actually. But does get through for a single. But this has been a good over from Cook. Just the 5 runs from it and the wicket. There have been, in addition to that, a couple of wides. But he's still produced a degree of control that's been missing in recent overs. And James Vince has played a critical innings here. It remains to be seen whether it's going to be match winning. He's on strike and he'll be doing what he can in the next 13 deliveries to try and turn it into a definitive match winning one. Cook will bowl to him and he launches that away down the ground. It should be stopped at long on and they've just got the 1 run. That will mean that Vince keeps the strike. He's on 106. Not a bad over that from Sam Cook at all. And he'll bowl the last over. It's going to be Snater, I would guess. We'll see. Yeah, it will be Snater. Bennett's second over being expensive, number 32 in 2 overs. So Snater will bowl 2 pretty tight overs up top, and then the third one was a bit more expensive. He's on number 31 in 3. He will bowl from the pavilion end. And the Hampshire supporters who have come in have certainly enjoyed watching James Vince. And that was a good innings indeed from Joe Weatherly, who we mentioned was the leading run scorer in the group phase for Hampshire with 382. He added 46 to that. They came off 26 balls with 3 6s and 3 4s, and he certainly played his part 2 overs to go. Cartwright at the non-strikers end. Vince has the strike. 2 short third men, a short fine leg and a cover, the rest on the boundary. Snater bowls, picked up by Vince. That's going to be sailing over deep square leg. I think that might have carried all the way. It has gone for 6. Picked it up on length. There's a deep square, a deep mid-wicket, and he's bisected the 2 perfectly. And he's gone to 112 from 57. It's been a tremendous hand from the Hampshire captain and, of course, former England player, someone who really should have played more for England across formats. So that's a pretty good start to the over for him. 185 for 2. Hampshire must make sure this gets to 200. Essex won't want it to go too far beyond. This is hit up by Vince, up towards long on. It could be a possible chance. No, it's gone through the fielder, beats the dive and goes for the second 6 in the over. I think it was Harmer out there who was closest to it at long on. Just stretched out a hand, but the ball was going over the rope, and it's back-to-back 6s for James Vince. 118 from 58, 191 for 2. So Hampshire certainly going to get to 200. Essex got to stop it going too far beyond that. Here is Snater in the 19th over. He bowls to Vince. Vince plays a pull shot here, which is going out towards... It will be stopped. It's stopped at deep square leg, and there's just a single. And even though it means Cartwright's on strike, that'll be something of a relief for Essex after 13 runs from the first 3 balls. 192 for 2. So 6-6-1. And Cartwright, who was in explosive form at Hove, will either be looking for a boundary or failing that. He's got lots of wide open space to get a single, particularly in the onside, to give the strike back to Vince. Here is Snater, bowls to Cartwright, and Cartwright goes on the drive away into the offside. It bounces just short of long off, running round towards deep extra cover, and they settle for the single. That means that Vince is back on strike. Cartwright 2 singles from as many balls. Vince 119 from 59. We are in the 19th over. So the 2 6s followed by the 2 singles. It's going to be Snater from the pavilion end. Bright sunshine at the moment. He bowls, and Vince picks this one up. It's going in towards deep mid wicket, and again it's going to carry the rope, and it does, and it goes for 6 into one of the least tenanted parts of the ground, part of the Colin Ingleby Mackenzie stand, with no one in that bank of seats. So the boundary fielder has to go beyond the boundary to collect it. But it's a third 6 in the over for James Vince. Not a bad move from Cartwright, giving the strike back to him. 125 from 60, 199 for 2.
Well, a penny for Simon Harmer's thoughts, having dropped Vince on 46. My word, he must be fuming.
7 balls to go. Here's Snater bowling one that's a bit flatter. This again, it's hit in the air. Could be caught at deep mid wicket, and is. And that is the end of a fantastic innings from James Vince. He was playing the similar shot to the one that had carried deep mid wicket off the previous delivery. Didn't quite get as much leverage on this one, and deep mid wicket was waiting for the catch and has hung on fairly comfortably after the previous one sailed over his head. Noah Thane gets his second catch of the innings. Shane Snater gets a wicket, but James Vince gets 125. A fantastic innings, and it remains to be seen whether he has already played his side into finals day on Saturday. There's still work to do for Hampshire, but they're in a very, very good position. And for the most part, it's down to the man walking back to the pavilion now. James Vince getting a great ovation from the crowd that's come in. He's about to walk over the rope and up the steps. What a fantastic innings, Kevin.
Well, that's vintage James Vince for you, isn't it? And he's pulled it out at a time when Hampshire... Well, it's always a time when Hampshire need it, but especially today when they're looking to make finals day. 14 4s and 7 6s, 61 balls in that innings of 125. Absolutely terrific stuff from him. And it was just 4 short of his all-time top score for Hampshire, which was 129 not out.
Well, I remember, I think in 23, when he won a game at Chelmsford inside about 45 minutes off his own bat. Has he done something similar here?
Here's Sam Cook then to bowl the last over. Right arm medium pace. It's a low full toss. It's chipped up in the air by Hilton Cartwright, and they'll run 2 as the ball just about makes its way to the 30-yard circle on the onside. Always an area where you should always look for 2. Ben Mays is out there. These were the 2 that put Sussex to the sword on Sunday. They won't be batting quite so long here, but nevertheless, to the 200 up for Hampshire. I mentioned earlier this season, Hampshire won this game when they scored 200 for 4. They're going to go past that.
It's probably somewhere in between what they got earlier this season and what they got last season, which was an even bigger score, wasn't it?
230, that's right. the season before. 201 for 3 then. Here's Cook bowls. It's a slower ball outside the off stump. Hit away by Cartwright. Over the top of extra cover. That will bounce away. Has just enough legs to take it over the rope. And Cartwright moves on to 8. And Hampshire move on to 205 for 3 with still 4 balls remaining.
He didn't quite time that one, but he placed it very well, didn't he? And just in the right spot, because 3 fielders converging and none of them could quite get to it. And, well, Hilton Cartwright, a pretty dangerous man to have in with an over to go. Explosive hitter.
8 from 4, 205 for 3. Still 4 balls remain as Cook runs away from us once more and bowls. That's a full delivery. That's really well bowled, but Cartwright still manages to hit that down the ground. They'll come back for 2 as Harmer throws. 2 runs takes Hampshire on to 207 for 3.
Well, the Hampshire batting, of course, Vince very much leading the way, but it has delivered. And there's been a similar theme to what's happened here to some recent games between the sides on this ground in T20, where the Hampshire batting has dominated. Essex made a reasonable fist of things in reply earlier in the season, but they're going to have to go somewhat better today.
Well, if they get close, this is going to be an awesome game, that's for sure, as Cook comes in again. Again, it's a good Yorker, but it's dug out again by Cartwright. They'll think they'll look for 2 here. They'll have to hurry Ben Mays. The throw comes in from Thane. Direct hit might have been interesting, but it was well wide of the stumps. I think Thane was just running a little bit too hard to steady himself and throw and aim.
Yeah, I was wondering, I'm just thinking maybe Cook was thinking, maybe just a flick throw back to me and I might have been able to whip the bails off. It would have been tight, but that would have been probably a good percentage call. But Cook a little bit frustrated there. He's actually bowled pretty well here, yes. Sam Cook, amidst all this hitting.
Well, it's 10 off the over so far, but when a side's only 3 down going as well as Hampshire are, I think you'd settle for that. Still 2 balls left though. He's got the ball up very full and done pretty well most of the time. I'm sure this will be another one, and it is outside the off stump, and Cartwright tries to flick that away, gets off the toe of the bat, and Cook fields off his own bowling.
Yeah, and good anticipation there from Sam Cook, trying to read the batter's mind. Ben Mays isn't going to get much of a hit here.
He's not going to get any, unless there's a wide or something and they run a single. Ben Mays is going to be 0 off 0.
It might be that if Hampshire get through to finals day, he'll have his chance to show what he can do on a very, very big stage. And of course, Essex will have something to say about that later, I'm sure.
Last ball then of the Hampshire innings, 209 for 3. Here's Cook, bowls. Cartwright swings away on the onside, doesn't get hold of it, but again, it's one of those where it trickles away on the leg side and they'll pick up 2. And Hampshire will close on 211 for 3 with Cartwright 14 not out. Ben Mays actually didn't get to face a ball. I think this will be one of the more exciting T20s of the season.
It will. I think a turning point in the innings for me, maybe a second over, which went for something like 14 runs. And obviously the drop catch, the chance that was offered by Vince that was put down by Simon Harmer, which could yet prove very important indeed. But you look at basically the match, and there's been a pretty good start by the Essex attack. They would have been relatively happy with the first, say, 8 overs or so, but there was a tremendous acceleration from Hampshire, and it really started, I think, probably with that over where Critchley went for 6-4-4. It was that was the 10th over of the innings, and they had 62 after 9, and then the 10th over went for 15. And that sort of lit the blue touch paper, so to speak. And from then on, Essex found it very difficult to contain Hampshire, who got a very good score.
I've got one more stat for you with James Vince, thanks to Dan George of BBC Online here. Vince joins Chris Lynn on 6 T20 blast centuries. Only Michael Klinger of Gloucestershire, when he was playing, has more, and he has 7 to his name. So well done to him. Simon Harmer, I'm afraid, dropping that catch on 46, will still be smarting in the dressing room. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with you shortly with the Essex reply.
Yes, what a performance. What the quarterfinal was about. It was finals day happening on Saturday. The winner of today's game will be there, and Hampshire are very familiar with that finals day, so fingers crossed the second innings coming very soon. But before all that, we've got to get to some fun, more action here on the pitch. Ready. So what we're going to do, we've got two contenders, two teams over here.
Enjoy yourself on a UK no-fly cruise. Enjoy yourself. There's amazing shows for you.
Enjoy yourself. There's outstanding cuisine.
Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. It's all high quality. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. It's all high quality.
The Thatcher's family farm. Making cider with nothing but love and skills. Delivering perfection for over a century.
"25 years of flight. The Hawks are back. Come fly with us."
Doesn't even have to run. He's been waiting for the square cut. He plays it beautifully. Nice personal milestone for Robin Smith. He's
in a memorable game. Hampshire have taken this game with 153 batting first.
straight away. Peterson's gone.
Shane Warne once again been quite brilliant. Changed the game.
Yes, it does. There it is. That means that Hampshire are the winners of the Friends Provident Trophy 2000.
And he can't get there. And Hampshire Royals have done it. The scores.
The Southern Vipers have won the inaugural Kia Super League.
100 from Riley Rousseau, a moment to remember. Finner and innings of real quality for Hampshire.
Get themselves over the line emphatically to defeat the reigning champions Hampshire.
That's what you've got. That is what you've got. Nothing else. Rips a Yorker through. Past the Bennett Gleeson. Hampshire.
Oh my word. It's the biggest of the lot.
boxes. It was a quite sublime knock, but Simon Harmer, I'm afraid, will perhaps not be feeling so chipper because he dropped Vince on 46 at extra cover, and it wasn't that difficult. So 212 needed by Essex, and whoever wins this game, of course, goes forward to finals day, and it's a quick turnaround because that is coming up on Saturday. I'm Kevin James, and next to me from BBC Essex is Nick Ledhill.
Well, Essex have a lot of work to do, there's no doubt about that, Kevin, and these two about to start this attempt to get this big target have been in pretty good form. We've got Walter with 372 runs in the competition and Pepper 355, and Pepper himself has been in very good touch recently in that last match, so they could do with a good start from these two. And then Jordan Cox is in the side today, coming off and perhaps playing an innings similar to the one he played against the same opposition at Chelmsford last year. Trying to think of some positive angles for Essex. Yeah, one I could offer is that in 2010, when we had a game starting early because of a World Cup knockout match, 2010 it was England, Germany and South Africa quarter-final. The game started at 11:30 and Essex won by 9 wickets. So it's his Wood to bowl the first ball, and Walter will drive to... that's a nice drive between the bowler and mid-on and goes for 4. Slightly over-pitched, and a good start from Paul Walter. Yes, that match in 2010 started in 11:30 in the morning. Ravi Bopara, I think, got 90 odd. Essex just lost the 1 wicket chasing 150. Well, they're going to have to chase a lot more here. But that's one, trying to find some good omens for Essex. That's one I can come up with. But if they can get this target, I tell you what, that will really set them up for Saturday. That is one thing, because they're going to need to bat very, very well. There is a slip in, and 4 on the offside, saving 1. And one of those is Vince himself, the star of the day so far at mid-off, who prevents any further addition to the score. Mid-off cover. We've got a square cover and a sort of extra cover. We've got a short third man, we've got a short fine leg, and we've got a mid-on and a slip. So 4 saving 1 on the offside, 2 on the leg side, plus the slip. And the 2 boundary fielders at the moment are at deep backward point and deep square leg. Here's Wood, comes into bowl, driven away nicely by Walter for a run, just back of the square on the offside. That sweeper we've talked about does the fielding, and Walter's collected 5 runs from the first 3 balls, and the strikers with Pepper, and Essex are 5 for no wicket. Obviously we need a good power play. Yeah,
well, I think we can safely say, Nick, this is still a very good wicket, isn't it, from Saturday. It's obviously got baked for a few days after that, but it's not showing too much sign of wear.
Now Essex will be hoping it continues to play in much the same vein, and there's no sign of any deterioration. There was a little bit of movement, particularly for Cook early on. But other than that, not a lot beat the bat. It's going to be Wood from our commentary end, the northern end, and that's played by Pepper defensively into the offside, and there is no run. So Essex here with this huge task to overtake 212 for a place in finals day for the 7th time. But they do have Jordan Cox at number 3. You feel he may well need to come off today. Allison, Benkenstein, Critchley, Harmer. I'll be looking at those batters to get the bulk of the runs. And after that, Thane, Snater, Cook and Bennett. Here is Wood bowling, and that's played away along the ground. And it's just about as short of short third, and they scamper through for a single. That's just moving across to his right there. Just cut that off, and they have got through for 1 and 6 for no wicket.
Apologies there, got too excited there, Nick.
But an early wicket would be very useful from actually what they really want is an early wicket plus Cox, and then they'll feel in a very good position. 6 for no wicket. Walter is back on strike with 5, and Walter will collect this and send it away to short fine leg. They scamper through for a single. That looked to be a little bit uppish for a while, but it bounced clear of the fielder. It's just a 1 run. Too much. But I think he was trying to hit that away through mid-wicket, and I think it has got a bit of bat on it and was in the air for a while, but not a bad over that from Wood. 7 came from it. The target is 212. It's 7 for no wicket after 1.
That's Andrew Neil round the corner there. A couple of good pieces of fielding from him. Just a little bit more about Vince's innings and where it puts him, because as we know, James Vince is the highest T20 blast run scorer of all time. He's now into the 6,700s. Joe Denley is about 1,100-1,200 runs behind him now. in the all-time charts. So Vince is putting even more daylight between himself and the Kent man. Sonny Baker then from the pavilion end, who will bowl quite quick as he comes in and bowls to Walter. Walter flicks that away. That's going for 4. There's nobody down at fine leg. And Walter moves on to 10, 11 without loss. You know, I was just looking across to my left, Nick, and the salt and pepper chicken outlet is looking very, very popular indeed. The queue has been
there.
well, I was going to say the queue is at least 20 deep, and it has been throughout the break. And I was thinking, my God, that chicken must be unbelievable as everybody is queuing up there until I look around the ground and it's the only outlet
yes,
open.
It's open.
So that's why.
The beer van is.
So whether it's any good or not, I couldn't tell you, because if you want some food, that's the only place you can go to.
I think there's an ice cream van open on the other side.
Oh, is it? Oh, you can have that or an ice cream. Baker bowls. Walter hammers that away in the air. This could be out, and it's caught and bowled. Sonny Baker. Paul Walter just looks to the ground, got right underneath that top edge, looped around. Sonny Baker turned round in his follow through. Walter goes for 10, and Essex have lost their first wicket.
The sunny side up from the Essex perspective, and Cox most of the innings to bat, but from a Hampshire point of view, they've taken an important wicket because Walter has been in very good form, and to break this opening partnership up early certainly is a good start from the Hampshire point of view. And if they were to be able to consolidate it with the wicket of Cox fairly quickly, it would put Hampshire in a very strong position.
Yeah, well, this guy pulverised Hampshire at Chelmsford last year, 139 not out off just 60 balls. Absolutely hit Hampshire around the ground. If he gets going, watch out.
Well done to Sonny Baker. I imagine for a bowler of his pace, caught and bowls aren't the most straightforward things, and that's possibly why he made it look a little bit dodgy, but he did well to hang on.
Yeah, running back, stop on his follow through and then run backwards. Here he is then. He's got a slip and he's got a short third man as well. Cox pulls that away on the leg side, 4 runs. That's a nice looking shot. Had all the time in the world to pull that. He just helped it away using Sonny Baker's pace.
Yeah, anything that's just a bit short, as we saw earlier. Good quality batters. That was a little bit short of a length, and just able to get into line and pull it away.
You were saying he's not done a lot of batting, has he, recently? This is only his 5th match in this year's T20. He's been in the England squads. He played that one test match at the Oval against New Zealand. A couple of 20s for him there. As Baker comes in and bowls. Cox cuts that away. Caught at short third man. And Cox goes. Andrew Neil with a safe pair of hands there. It got big on Cox. He couldn't keep it down, and in the end he's just given Neil catching practice, and Cox goes for 4. It's all going Hampshire's way.
Huge moment. Can't really understate that. Jordan Cox obviously was looking maybe for the uppercut. It's almost as if he wasn't aware that Neil was there, because it was very much in the youngster's range. And as we mentioned, Kevin, he produced a couple of good pieces of fielding in the first over, but on that occasion, when it really mattered, he hung on to a very, very important catch. Well, now at 15 for 2, a lot depends on Michael Pepper, who's got recent runs, did well at the weekend, but you feel it has to be a partnership now, because they've got to try and settle this down, build a partnership, and then try to accelerate it. But it is difficult when you're chasing 212. But Sonny Baker, what a dream start for him. 2 wickets in his opening over, and 2 very big wickets indeed. And certainly, I think credit to him, because I think he induced the full shot from Walter. That one from Cox is a bit more difficult to work out. It did look as though it was almost had forgotten Neil was in that particular position, because it was right in his range.
Well, it's a good start, but it's certainly not over yet. There's still plenty of batting here. Charlie Allison, the 21-year-old, facing Sonny Baker, bowls, and Allison plays a length ball out behind square. It goes to Andrew Neil. Looked like Pepper was ready to go for a single. Allison wasn't.
Well, 302 runs in the competition, Charlie Allison. He's had a terrific season. mainly batting at 4 in the championship, and here at 4 when Cox is at 3 in this competition. But my word, he and Pepper have got to do something special here. There is obviously batting to come with Matt Critchley. We've said a lot about his record against Hampshire this season, but he's going to have to probably expand on that here.
15 for 2 in the second over. Baker runs in and bowls to Allison, who works that ball into the gap behind square on the offside. 2 wickets for Sonny Baker in that second over, leaves Essex 16 for 2, chasing 212 for victory.
Yeah, and that's looking an awful long way away. 196 off 18 overs, and obviously at the moment they're not up with the rate. The required rate is just a shade under 11, but with 2 wickets down, you feel that some sort of period of consolidation is needed, but it can't be for very long. But Hampshire might feel that they could at least maybe get a couple of relatively quiet overs in here, particularly with Allison new to the crease. But what a dream start for Hampshire and Sonny Baker. Here's Chris Wood starting the third over, his second. He bowls, that's well pitched up delivery, and Allison just playing it a compact stroke. A late shot, just back of the square on the offside, collects a single. Goes to 2. Pepper is there on 1. So Michael Pepper, who is a very fine white ball player, and on Sunday Essex were chasing a fairly subpar target that was set by Surrey, but they made fairly light work of that, and it was very impressive indeed. Much more difficult today, as that one gets Pepper rather caught up there in the crease as he's looking to work it away into the onside. In the end, it's Albert who comes around behind the stumps to gather it. Didn't go very far at all. Sort of full-length delivery from Wood. An attempt by Pepper to work it away, but as I say, not much bat on it at all. 71 not out from 56 balls on Sunday. Chasing down that target at the Oval, but there's a much more demanding situation. 17 for 2, chasing 212. He goes across his crease and tries to work that one away, play the ramp shot, but it's not there. It's actually probably a slower ball that from Wood, and in the end it was never really there for the shot, and in the end the ball just sort of rolls away into the offside, and Wood gathers it in. And this is that quiet over that we were talking about that Hampshire might be looking for, just to consolidate the 2 wickets and to push the asking rate up. 17 for 2.
Yeah, it's over 11s from here on in at the moment.
Wood bowls, and here on the drive, straight to square cover. No run. Good shot that from Pepper after he'd not got much of a bat in the last 2, but even though it was sweetly timed, straight to the field. And Hampshire have a ring of 5, saving 1 on the offside. They have a mid-on and a mid-wicket. So there's no short fine leg. There is a fine leg therefore on the boundary, and also a deep square leg. The other boundary fielder that is allowed in the first 6 overs of the power play. Chasing 212. This one, attempt to force the ball away off the back foot. There's no timing. It rolls out with no pace at all to Weatherly. And that actually allows them to get through for a single. Had it gone straight to Weatherly, there wouldn't have been a run, but it sort of dribbled out towards him, and he couldn't stop the run. But Pepper middled 1 in that over, but just had a few problems against Wood. He did get a single there to give the strike back to Allison, but just 2 runs off the over. And exactly what Hampshire would have wanted, just to consolidate that double wicket success for Sonny Baker. Here is Wood coming into bowl, and this is driven on the bounce to mid-off. Quick single, sharp to stumps. Well, I'll tell you what, in the end, Allison is doing a somersault to get into his crease there. If that had hit that throw, that would have been quite interesting as the throw came in. But Delano Popgita was the man in the action. The throw didn't hit, but I think Allison, anticipating that the ball might be coming straight at him, did a somersault, but he was safely in, and it's 3 off the over. It's a good one for Chris Wood, who has none for 10 off 2, and Essex are 19 for 2, needing a further 193 and 70.
Yeah, Essex can't afford to hang around here. They need to get some momentum in this innings pretty damn quick. Rocked by those 2 early wickets, they haven't got time to hang around. Sonny Baker with his second over, first over 2 for 9 from the pavilion end. Right arm over, comes past the umpire and bowls, and that's a length ball. Worked on the onside. At the beginning, it'll be a quick single. more comfortable this time as Fuller throws to the bowler's end.
Just seeing a Hampshire, great young Hampshire paceman. Just wanted to ask about John Turner, if there's any news on him. It's a long recovery period from injury for John Turner,
I'm not sure it's great news, if I'm honest. I'm hearing one or two little things. I know when I spoke to him briefly a few weeks ago, he didn't have the operation that he might have had on his back. He's been really struggling with that. He's been using fitness to build it back up, but I'm not sure how well that's going, if I'm honest. As Baker bowls, that's driven through the covers. Nice shot from Pepper. That'll be 4 runs, which is not exactly greeted enthusiastically by the crowd. It's not a great crowd, as I say. There's not been a big time to turn this game around. About 2,500 expected. I'm not sure there's quite even that at the moment, but lots of yellow shirts out there, and still a few people waiting for that salt and pepper chicken that they're ordering as well. Still about 7 or 8, 9, 10 in the queue there. 24 for 2. That's doing great business.
Yes, the only catching outlet.
The only food outlet open today, and it's doing all right. Here's Baker, bowls to Pepper, tries to pull that away. They're asking for a caught behind. Pepper goes, doesn't look happy. Quick delivery. It was through him before he really knew it. And he's taking time. He's taking his time to go off. I think he thinks that's flicked something else. Pepper goes for 6, and Essex are 3 down for 24.
Yeah, he was very, very disappointed with that. I mean, obviously the feeling was that it probably flicked the glove, but he does have to go. There's no replays. It's not being a televised game. Maybe if it was, it might have reprieved him. But clearly, the umpire thinking he's seen a deviation there, and Pepper stayed in his crease for a long time, but he does have to go, and he's walking off looking very disappointed. He's swinging his bat in his left hand. He's taking his gloves off. He's got both gloves in his right hand, and he's very disappointed, feeling that maybe he didn't get anything at all on that. So the area in which it hit him, it could only really have been an arm guard or something if it did hit anything. And obviously, in the umpire's opinion, it was pretty close to the gloves.
Well, it all happened so quick. It certainly got on him very quickly indeed. Baker's picked up all 3 wickets now. Walter, Jordan, Cox and Michael Pepper. They're 3 big wickets at the top of the Essex order. 10, 6 and 4. The 3 batters.
And 3 huge wickets. There's no way of downplaying that.
3 for 14 from 9 balls for Sonny Baker. That's why you have somebody in your armoury that bowls quick. Yes, sometimes it can go for a few runs. The batter's using the pace. It's very difficult to tell at a distance and on the replays whether there's a big deviation, but anyway, he's gone. And the new batter is Luke Benkenstein as Baker bowls. Benkenstein just strokes that away down to 3rd. And he will pick up a single to get off the mark first ball. And Essex move on to 25 for 3 in the 4th.
The thing about Baker, occasionally he'll bowl a fairly innocuous ball, which maybe is a bit short of the first ball he bowled to Cox was. But with his pace, even on this pitch, which has looked pretty batting friendly, that extra little bit of pace, a bit like John Turner 2 years ago in the final group stage match, which we remember when Turner won the game for Hampshire. That extra pace can be very, very useful.
Charlie Allison to face Baker. Tries to swing away on the offside, gives himself some room. Hasn't missed the off stump by very much, that one. He's trying to hit it through the offside because there is no cover behind the covers. The 2 fielders out at down 3rd man and backwards of square leg.
Very difficult position this now for Essex. There might be some thought about whether they might have batted first, given that this is the pitch from the Brook-Butler partnership, and the sooner you use it, the better. That could be one way of looking at things, but certainly Baker's bowled very well.
Well, I think it worked very well at your place last Friday.
Yeah,
putting Hampshire in. There's no doubt about that. That's driven to mid-wicket, and there is no run. End of the 4th over. Baker has 2 overs, 3 for 15, and Essex 25 for 3. Remember, 212 is the target. I think it was a good toss to win that night. Hampshire didn't really know what to do, so they decided to go hard. It didn't work. I think almost really maybe with that, thinking about that, and this being a used wicket, a few days for the sun to get on it afterwards as well, they're probably thinking the same.
Yeah.
We don't quite know.
And
I think Simon Harmer said that, didn't he?
Both sides out for 130 and 123.
But I think Simon Harmer was hinting at that, really, didn't he, when he was asked in the pre-match interview after the toss, saying we're not really quite sure what it will do.
Absolutely. 25 for 3. Is there a way back here? 187 required. 16 overs to go, 11.7 the rate. Wood bowls attempted ramp shot, and the ball actually bounces before reaching Albert. Not sure there was much bat on that from Benkenstein, but these two really in a difficult position, both new to the crease after those 3 quick wickets. Interesting one at Headingley now. Yorkshire 161 for 9 in 20 overs. Live made 64, but nobody else got more than 20. 3 wickets for Jake Ball, 2 for Meredith, 2 for Overton, but Somerset at 18 for 2 in reply. So that is looking very interesting there at Headingley. Here is Wood bowling, a slightly slower one, played away into the onside, nicely stopped by Curry at mid-wicket, keeps them down to 1. Might have been a second if it had got past him. Benkenstein to 2, Allison has 4, but the bad news from an Essex point of view, Walter out for 10, Cox for a second ball 4, the first ball to the boundary for second ball, trying to hit it away, probably over short third and hitting it straight to Andrew Neil, and then Pepper given out, caught probably off the glove in the umpire's opinion for 6, so that's played away along the ground for a single, but certainly the couple of singles there Hampshire won't mind at all. Essex needing boundaries. A single each to Benkenstein, and Allison gives a strike back to Benkenstein. It's 27 for 3, 185 required, and there are 15 overs and 3 balls left. It's a mountain to climb. Someone's going to have to play a great innings. It looked as though that person might need to be Cox, given the size of the task, but of course it can't be. These two are very talented young batters, but you're going to have to try and find a way of getting after this Hampshire attack, which has bowled well so far. Here's Wood again, bowls. That one just a nicely bowled delivery, nice disguise there, and Benkenstein had to wait for it a little bit, and in the end was just able to play it into the onside up towards mid-wicket, and there's no run.
Yeah, Wood's tended to bowl most of his overs up top now, which is a change in tactics from the years where he's bowled a couple and then come back right at the death, and yeah, he's just tended to try and keep it steady. That's all he needs to do here.
Here's Wood, 571 on the offside. He bowls. That one's driven away firmly back past the bowler for 4. Shot of the innings so far for Essex. Benkenstein, a lovely stroke down the ground. Hit that very hard. And Wood found that coming back at him very quickly. Couldn't get enough on it. And went through him and away for 4. Down in front of our commentary box at this, the hotel end. And it's 31 for 3 in the 5th.
Yeah, well, you're asking two 21-year-olds, in these situations to just turn things around. I mean, they're both good players. We've seen that before. But they're only sort of played 30 and 37 games in this competition, respectively. It's not a lot.
Benkenstein on 6 is on strike, and this is played away up into the offside. It goes up to cover, and there's no run. Not a bad over that from Wood. Certainly, 6 runs from it. Hampshire would settle from that. He's done a good support role for Baker in terms of keeping things relatively quiet at this end. None for 16 off 3. I wonder if Baker will continue. 31 for 3 after 5. 181 required in 15 at 12s.
Now it's going to be Scott Curry to come on, take over from Sonny Baker. 21 wickets to his name this year. He's quite a prolific wicket taker in this competition. He's got the second highest wickets this season behind Hassan Ali at Yorkshire. He's picked up 25 before today. Also picked up 27 wickets last year, Scott Curry. So you can usually expect 1 or 2 from him during his 4-over spell. But Essex have to start to take some risks now. Don't want to get too far behind. They've got an awful lot to do here. At 31 for 3, needing 212. Here's Scott Curry then from the pavilion end. Right arm over. And bowls to Allison, uses his feet, hits it up in the air, just about over mid-on, or maybe not. Oh, it's put down. Put down. It was hanging in the air, hanging in the air. It was a teaser. And in the end, I'm not sure who that is up there. It wasn't an easy catch.
Was it Pot Gita? I think
it was Pot Gita, yeah. He was always running backwards, and in the end, he had to put his hands out. And
it looked like he got it at one point.
It did, yeah. 33 for 3. Maybe that's a bit of luck that Essex need as Curry comes in again and bowls, and that's stroke. Nicely behind point. Nicely timed by Allison. And that's going for 4. 37 for 3.
Well, just one little break for Essex. Of course, there was a huge break that went Hampshire's way when Vince was dropped. I wonder if it's just possible that we might see something as significant from one of these two batters after that reprieve, but yeah, that's the first mistake Hampshire have made in the field. Wasn't straightforward, but disappointed he hasn't caught that, I'm sure.
Allison has 11. Curry's in again. Allison works it away on the leg side. Should be 2. Fielded down on the fine leg boundary by Hilton Cartwright.
Latest from Trent Bridge. Knots made 163 for 6 and were indebted to Jack Haynes. 75 not out from 55 balls. 3 wickets for Chris Jordan. And Surrey in reply of 14 for no wicket in the third. So they'll probably be feeling relatively confident, the Londoners, at this stage.
Curry from the pavilion end once more, gives himself some room. Hammers that away. That's better hit from Charlie Allison. That's going all the way. That's a very, very good hit. Pop Guito had absolutely no chance with that one at mid-on. That's right out of the middle of the bat. Allison moves on to 19. 45 for 3.
Well, first pretty good over this for Essex, given it could have been a disastrous start. 2-4, 2-6.
Allison is 19 from 12. Curry in again. Bowls. Allison again steps outside leg stump. That's a Yorker. That's well bowled, and it's stopped by his boot on his follow through. Scott Curry, whose first 5 balls have gone for 14. Looks like Andrew Neil is warming up at this near end with his left arm spinner. Into the side for Liam Dawson today, from the side that won at Sussex on Sunday. Liam Dawson not released by England for this game, not surprisingly, after his efforts with the bat yesterday, half century against India. That's off the edge, and it's just over Andrew Neil, and that'll run away down to the third man boundary for 4. Allison gave that the kitchen sink, and he got a hard outside edge on that one. Moves on to 23, and Essex on to 49 for 3.
Well, that's better from an Essex point of view. 18 off the over. They just need a few more of those. Probably 3 or 4 in a row, really. The problem is, of course, the 3 wickets down at this stage. The end of the power play. At least a little bit of a fight back. I mean, if that catch had been taken, I think we would have been very much close to game over. But these are 2 talented young batters, and there is batting to come. Simon Harmer thought he might have to play maybe one more big innings in the competition. Well, I'll tell you what, more than likely ain't going to have to come today. I'm sure he will be getting a bat later on. But Andrew Neil is going to bowl his slow left arm. He's going to bowl to Luke Benkenstein. And Benkenstein will just go to the back foot and play that one just past backward point, probably for just 1. There is a sweeper out there. Of course, more boundary fielders now. Only 1 of them or 2 of them on the offside, the other one at long off, and then we've got a long on, deep mid wicket and deep square leg. So, Luke Benkenstein a chance to play a major innings, and indeed Charlie Allison here, as he just goes back and plays that one past the bowler for a single up towards long on. There's Joe Weatherly, who batted very nicely in that partnership with James Finch. Very much played his part in that. 1 more to the total. 51 for 3. Probably feel I need to attack Neil. He's relatively inexperienced. Comes into bowl, and that one is hit. Oh, with a bit of a change of mind there, I think, from Benkenstein. In the end, it's gone on the bounce up to cover. I think he just adjusted the shot there. No run. 51 for 3, chasing 212. And this one, he launches away down the ground. It's going to go over deep mid wicket and go for 6. Well, Essex need 2 boundaries and over, really. And that's the first from this one. Fine shot from Luke Benkenstein. Just read that delivery from Neil and was back in his crease and launched it away. And bisected for 2 boundary fielders. 57 for 3. Neil bowls again, and that one again has worked away into the onside, but without the fluency this time. It rolls away to Mays at deep square leg, and there is a single. So can Neil be able to close this over out, or can there be another boundary for Essex? 58 for 3, chasing 212. Neil bowls, flatter one. This is hit away along the ground. It's going up towards deep extra cover, so there are 2 boundaries in the over. And Charlie Allison is going along nicely with Luke Benkenstein here. That was a good shot from Allison away through the offside. And it's got 28, Benkenstein 14. 62 for 3, so a couple of better overs for Essex back-to-back. 7 have gone, 62 for 3. They need 150 exactly from 13 overs.
Well, it's better, isn't it? It's early days. But Hampshire won't want too many overs like this. But these two youngsters are just starting to master the bowling, hence why James Vince is just manoeuvring things around a little bit. Scott Curry whisked out of the attack after just his 1 over. James Fuller into the attack with his right arm quick mediums. He's been a little expensive in this year's competition. He's going at a fraction under 10 and over. Career-wise, he's a fraction under 9s. So he has been a little bit more expensive. But can he just pull things back a fraction? He's bowling to Luke Benkenstein. Gives himself some room on the leg side. Pulls that away on the leg side as well. Hilton Cartwright in off the rope. It looks like the servers at the Salt and Pepper Chicken Outlet have got a little bit of a reprieve, although as I say that, the queue's gone back to 5 or 6 deep. They must have taken a stack of money this afternoon.
It's extraordinary.
Wish I had shares in that.
Nobody else
bothered to open their shack, did they? There must be about 5 or 6 shacks away to our left that are all closed up. Just the Salt and Pepper Chicken open. Other Salt and Pepper Chicken outlets available, of course, not necessarily on this ground, as that's turned away on the leg side by Charlie Allison. They're looking for 2 and decide to just keep it at 1.
So the asking rate has just been pushed down a bit to 11.6. Hampshire want to get that north of 12 and over as soon as possible, and don't particularly want these two to settle, but would be quite some story if these two can build a partnership to really get Essex back into this game, because those 3 wickets were really big wickets.
They put on 40 so far in just over 3 overs. So they're hitting back well here, the 2 youngsters. As Fuller from that pavilion end comes in again, and that's worked away in the air. Oh, it's hit the ground first. I got excited yet again. From this angle, because obviously Allison's blocking our view initially, it just looked as though he just flicked it away to Fuller.
Good start from Fuller, though. Just the 2 runs from the first 3 deliveries.
It is. Field scattered on the leg side, as it usually is. There's always a single in front of the square at the very least. Unless, of course, you try and go for broke. Fuller turns. Runs towards us once more and bowls to Benkenstein. Benkenstein pulls that away. Now he's got that between 2 fielders. There should be 2 here. Out towards deep mid-wicket. Hilton Cartwright out there. Away to our left. 66 for 3. Benkenstein's on to 17. 29 to Charlie Allison. Walter for 10. Jordan Cox for 4. Pepper for 6. The 3 batters that were out in the first 4 overs. All to Sonny Baker.
The game that started later, Gloucestershire 152 all out at Northampton. 4 wickets for Ben Sanderson, so Northampton's in control there.
Here's Fuller again, bowls. It's pulled away in the air. Could this be caught at mid-on? And he's gone. Straight down deep mid-on's throat. Didn't have to move really. Benkenstein goes for 17. He got on the ball too early. I mean, that's a good pull shot up towards deep mid-on. It's come out the middle of the bat as well. That's what made the catch that much more simple, and that's Scott Curry with the catch at the far end.
Yeah, disappointing because those 2 are going well, and Benkenstein there just not quite getting enough bat on that one. Had been a pretty good over by Fuller, just the 4 runs and now the wicket in the over. And well, Essex have got a. When Allison is looking good on 29 from 17, but Matt Critchley, well, good memories on this ground as we've been saying this season, but got something quite remarkable to do. He is capable of doing it. He's got huge experience as well, which will dovetail well with Allison's relative youth in respect of Critchley, but my word, there's an awful lot to do here.
Yeah, it's asking a lot of the batters.
That's a disappointment because Benkenstein has started pretty well. He really had. And just feel it's a bit of a giveaway. It's nicely judged by Curry. No, never looked like dropping it at long on.
So Matt Critchley, who's striking at 141 per 100 balls this year. Just over 120 runs as Fuller comes in again. Critchley drives pleasantly up to mid-off. Just a single, and that's the end of the over. Good over from James Fuller. 1 wicket, 4 runs conceded, 8 overs gone. Essex are 66 for 4. And from here, they need another 146, and that rate now up to 12 and over from here on in.
So, Charlie Allison, coach de Bourne, have made a great impression with Essex. Clearly a very high-class batter cross formats. And he's got a huge role now. He's got himself in. He's facing Neil, and he plays this one just up towards cover, and there's no run. But that was a very good over from Fuller. 4 runs and a wicket. And even though there have been a couple of expensive overs, that has just redressed the balance from the Hampshire perspective. The rate required is 12.3. Here's Allison playing that one away into the onside, wide open spaces, hitting it very softly and even thinking there might be a second. But Cartwright spotted the danger quickly and got in from deep mid wicket, and there was only one. Neil's first over was okay, but he did go for a couple of boundaries, but they probably need to target him. Obviously inexperienced, but important thing from Neil's point of view is wickets keep going at the other end. It makes his job a little bit easier. None for 14 off 8 balls so far. Bowls round the wicket, and that's cut away. It's actually a nice piece of bowling because Critchley was trying to hit that through towards Curry on the boundary, but it's just gone straight to cover. Dot 1 dot. Neil bowls. This is driven away. Only be a single. It's going up towards long on. Bowler very enthusiastically chasing after it, although Weatherly was saying, you don't need to worry too much. There's only going to be one, and I'll do the job. You can concentrate on your bowling. And well, it's a good over this from Neil. Good response after a couple of boundaries in his first. Again, Essex have been rocked by that dismissal of Benkenstein. They've got to start rebuilding again. The rate required is 12.7. It's Neil again, bowls, and that again, it's going to be one, going up towards long on. Probably a nice time for Neil to be bowling with the wicket having just gone down, but Allison is in, but he's not really been able to take to capitalise in this over. And if Neil can get out of this without a boundary, it's going to be a very, very good second over from him. This is last ball here. He bowls, and this is just played just past the bowler's outstretched left hand. It's only going to be a single. Goes to Potgieter at long off. So that's dot 1, dot 111. That's a very good over from the Hampshire perspective. It backs up the 4 runs from Fuller's over with another over that's just gone for that amount. And Essex can ill afford that at this stage. The asking rate's pushing 13. We've got 9 overs gone. It's 70 for 4. The target is 212.
Well, they are actually ahead of Hampshire at this stage. Hampshire had 62. They were 77 at the halfway stage after 10, but Hampshire did kick on with 134 off the second 10 overs. So.
And this was the 10th over was the Critchley over that started quiet, and then there were 3 boundaries off the last 3 balls, which appeared to be the turning point.
Fuller's earned himself another over, was running in just as there was a late decision about whether to send Andrew Neil down to third man. They've decided to bring him up on the 30-yard circle. So 70 for 4. We've got 11 overs left here. And it's Matt Critchley on 2 to face Fuller, whose first over went for 4. He picked up the wicket of Luke Benkenstein, caught it deep mid-on as Critchley cuts that away and goes past the diving Andrew Neil. And that's gone for 4. Maybe they should have put him down on the third man boundary.
BBC Essex listeners with us as well for this final part of the game. It's not very good news, I'm afraid. Critical thing was obviously Vince's brilliant 100. He was dropped on 46. And then this early loss of Walter, Cox and Pepper with just 24 runs. And there's an awful lot for Essex to do now.
Here's Fuller, bowls, and that's a full delivery which is squeezed out on the leg side by Critchley off the bottom inside edge. Jenny O's emailed me and said there is pie and chips available in the atrium as well. Thank you very much. Everybody's thinking about food here. So it's not just the salt and pepper chicken.
Well, there's enough people, and particularly at this time of day now, at about 6:30, they'll be nipping out just to get looking for something to eat. But the Hampshire fans who have come along will be pretty pleased with this, and this is at the moment a very good response from Hampshire, plus that Hove win to a lean run.
Fuller's in again and bowls, and Critchley works that up towards mid-on. Only be a single, 75 for 4. Ian Chalmers has emailed me to say the burger van behind the scoreboard to your right is open. We can't see that, of course, because of the temporary seating, which is still here from the weekend. So there is 2 outlets open. And everybody, I'm getting more emails about food than anything else. I mean, here's Hampshire in a really good position, looking forward to a finals day in a few days, and everybody's emailing me about food. And we had some nice food in the press bit as well. Thank you very much. Nice bit of
very nice indeed.
Chicken on pasta, wasn't it? And we had an amazing dessert. I don't know what you call it. It's that sort of shiny chocolate cake stuff. That's played on the leg side. As you can tell, I don't eat in too many gourmet restaurants. 79 for 4 in the 10th over. Whatever that shiny topping you put on cake. What is it called? It's praline or something, or something like that.
Very nice. I mean, it was very nice.
Praline.
And one of us will get to finals day at the moment. It's likely to be you, and there's plenty more of that sort of food coming for you on Saturday, if my memory is.
But there's not as much as there used to be. No, they have actually cut back a little bit now, Nick. Unfortunately, that's hammered away on the leg side, but it goes straight to Hilton Cartwright out at deep mid-wicket. 79 for 4. Yeah, it used to be wall-to-wall food from the time you arrived until the time you went home. You literally, at any point in the day, you go upstairs, don't you? Go in the back room, and there was always food. But now, actually, they set times.
Yeah.
So
10:38 to 10:40, and then you have to wait another 2 hours.
That's right. Yeah. No, they're not as liberal as they used to be up there. 78 for 4. As Fuller's in and bowls, and that's full deliveries. Worked on the leg side again. It will be just a single. 2 good overs here from James Fuller. 2 overs, 1 for 13. Essex 79 for 4 at the halfway stage. Remember, 212 is the target.
Yeah, good response from Fuller to the first ball going for 4, and that wicket of Benkenstein has rocked Essex, because he was batting nicely, dovetail with Allison, who's just been a bit becalmed since that dismissal, but he is on 34. Not too many runs other than the little double figures, I think, from Walter and Benkenstein, but is there any chance of Essex getting out of this? Hampshire really do have Essex where they want them. The only plus point is there's no Liam Dawson. You feel if Liam Dawson was in this Hampshire side, there would be very little chance for Essex, even less chance than there is now. But these two have added 13. And Neil is going to bowl his 3rd over, left arm spin, which is driven away down the ground, and it's gone up to cover. There's a quick single there. Wow,
they didn't take it.
Didn't take it in the end, because I thought that had gone down the ground. It actually went out towards cover. They were looking for a single and certainly had to get back into his ground there, did Allison. So the strike is with Critchley, and this is a sweep off the front foot, a lap shot which goes out towards deep mid-wicket for a single. Yeah, that last one was interesting. Perhaps it was a bit of a credit to Neil there, because I think certainly the intention was to hit that first ball down the ground, and it went to wide mid off, and Vince was almost in with the possibility of a run out. But again, a quiet start to the over, .1, and this is launched away out towards deep cover, but it's just going to be another single. Not enough for Essex this. Hampshire will, anything that goes for 1 now, Kevin, they'll take all day long. And Neil is doing a pretty solid job here, relatively inexperienced, basically in the side for Dawson, but he's only conceded 19 from 15 balls. This is driven away for another single up towards long off. And there is Potgieter, 82 for 4. The asking rate is 1 dot short of 14, 13.9 and over, which is a huge amount over more than 9 overs. This is the wide, I think, from Neil outside the off stump. Don't particularly need to bowl that, but Cook bowled a couple earlier on. I think he's probably bowling well enough not to worry too much about the batters at the moment. Allison is on strike, and again, he's bowled that one pretty well, and it's driven back on the bounce to Neil, and he fields nicely in his follow-through. So just the 3 runs and the wide, with 1 ball left of the 11th over. Neil bowls, and attempt to work the ball away, only goes away into the offside out towards deep cover. Well, I think Essex need more off Neil than they're getting here. Inexperienced slow left arm who's come into the side this season. Those are good figures in the context of this game. Number 22 and 3. It's 84 for 4. It's 128 required in 9 at 14.2 and over. And something dramatic is going to have to happen fairly quickly, we feel here. Remember, a couple of overs left from Sonny Baker, who has got 3 wickets.
Somerset struggling in their pursuit of 162 for victory against Yorkshire. They're 38 for 4 in the 8th. Will Speed with 21, and then James Rue, Tom Rue. It is Tom Rue, isn't it? Yeah. James Rue and Tom Banton all out for a single. Banton released by England, if I remember rightly. New over from Scott Curry. That's cut away out into the covers. Will that be cut off? It is right on the boundary at deep extra cover. Well, that's a good piece of
certainly interesting. Headingley, Yorkshire have done very well in the North group. And Somerset had really timed their run, but maybe Ravi Bopara was right. He was adamant at Taunton when it was put to him that Somerset on television he was going to win the tournament. He thought, no, we're not.
Oh, good on him. He's played a few games. I think he guess he knows what he's doing. He's playing missing outside the off stump there to Charlie Allison, who's 38 not out from 27 deliveries.
Having said that, if they get out of that, ditto Hampshire, ditto Essex here, both sides will be very formidable on Saturday. But Somerset in a corner, Essex in an even tighter corner.
There's a bit of shape on that one from Curry, looking at the replay there. Just slight hint of a swing away from the back. Curry's in again from the pavilion. Swing away hard on the leg side. Not sure it's going to go all the way for 4. Hilton Cartwright doing terrifically with a bounce there. And that's 2 runs there from Allison. He just stood there like a golf shot on a tee and just like he teed off.
It's really only been that one expensive over, that first Curry over. I don't think there's been anything similar to that, has there, really?
Not really.
And there's not been many boundaries, really, since Benkenstein got out.
Curry in again. Warm evening here at the Utilita with the sun out. That's swung away on the leg side. It's gone all along the ground out to Hilton Cartwright. Allison moves on to 41. 89 for 4. Essex in the 12th.
Hampshire have been very good away from home in these quarterfinals, but it is true to say, Kevin, isn't it, that home advantage is a big thing. It's something that Hampshire often looked for down the years, but not been able to get. And Somerset will be perhaps ruining their slow start in the Central and West group.
Here's Curry again. It's full. It's worked on the onside by Critchley. They could run 2 here, and they are. Critchley's just waiting for Allison because he's running at the danger end, although the throw comes into the keeper. 91 for 4. Yes, Hampshire's only their 5th home quarter final out of their 14 appearances, including today. Lost the 1 here.
One away side going well. Surrey, 53 for no wicket, chasing 167. They've had 7 overs. Roy and Evans together against Notts, chasing 164.
Curry in again. There's a reverse and missed by Critchley. The ball goes down the leg side between batter and stumps. End of the over. Curry has bowled 2 overs, none for 25. Essex 91 for 4. And we have 8 overs left of this contest. Remember, 212 is the target.
The asking rate's gone to 15. 91 for 4. The assault has to come now, really. We've got to get at least 2 boundaries and over, probably 3. 91 for 4, chasing 212 at 15.1. This is Neil's last over. I don't think Essex can afford his figures being none for 22 off 3. No. What can they do here against the inexperienced slow left armour? He bowls, and that's a good delivery. That's just chopped away off the back foot for a single. Again, Hampshire will take that all day long. Allison gets 1 and goes to 42. He hasn't quite been as fluent as he was when he was batting with Benkenstein. He actually just plays the shot again there. Neil now bowling to Critchley on 12 from 13 balls. Critchley goes on the reverse and just plays it down towards short third man. Again, it's just the 1 run. It wasn't what he was looking for, really. He was trying to play the scoop shot over that fielder. Never got on the shot. It's good bowling from the young slow left armour here. Bowls, and this is an attempt again to force the ball away through mid-wicket, but it's come off, I think, certainly nothing near the middle of the bat, and it's rolled past Neil and gone up towards long on for a single there for Allison, who's gone to 43 but has just lost his fluency a little bit. 94 for 4. Neil bowls again, and this time it's lofted away, it's in the air, it's going to be caught at backward point, and it is. And well done to Neil there, because his tight bowling has brought about a full shot in the end from Critchley, although Critchley really had to go for it, but it was getting more and more desperate as a situation. But credit to the young bowler there, who's deserved his wicket. Critchley was trying to force that one down the ground. It's flown away off a leading edge. It's been comfortably taken at backward point. And Essex at 94 for 5, barring Simon Harmer with the ultimate of miracles given his performances this season. Surely there isn't a way back here. Comfortable catch for Fuller and a deserved wicket for Neil.
Yeah. So this is tough for Essex. I've got another food email here. I'm not getting too many emails about well done Hampshire. This is absolutely brilliant. I've got another food email from Chris Main, although he does say Hampshire in a good position. He says he's watching the live stream at home with a ham salad and a G&T. There we go. It's obviously... it's all about the food tonight.
Well, it is Harmer who has been Very, very good. I mean, he's averaging 92.5. He's had 6 not outs in 8 innings. If he could make that 7 out of 9 and Essex win, then that would be good. But he has made it look simple when others have struggled, notably against Middlesex about a week ago. But Neil, 1 for 25. This is possibly his most economical over so far, actually. 3 runs and a wicket. Harmer is going to take strike, and Harmer will just go onto the back foot and play it down towards backward point. Well, Simon Harmer will know that possibly Hampshire scored, well, it's hard to quantify, isn't it, but 20, 25 more runs than they would have done if he'd taken that catch. It's hard to say what the middle order would have done. This is, again, just played along the ground. They're going to scamper through for a single. The shy at stumps comes in, and they think of an overthrow, but it's not going to be there, and that's a good over from Andrew Neil. He finishes with 1 for 26 in 4 overs, and that last over just went for 4. And I'm sure you're getting a bigger ovation from a bigger crowd here, but I think for basically Liam Dawson's replacement here, I think Dawson wouldn't have disowned that performance. 95 for 5. The asking rate is 16.7. It's 117 to win off 7.
Well, he's playing his fifth match in this year's competition. He made his debut against Essex in the group stages earlier this season here, and I remember speaking to him. I mean, he just can't believe his luck that he's playing in T20 cricket in Hampshire colours, and you can tell when he's out there, he's so enthusiastic, and he does make the fact that a team without Liam Dawson, it does make the the blow that Dawson's not here a little less. He's done a terrific job in all the games that he's played. Certainly hasn't let Hampshire down at all. James Fuller from the Pavilion end, 2 overs, 1 for 13, 95 for 5 then are Essex. From here they need another 116, and there are just 7 overs remaining. Surely they can't do it from here, but Simon Harmer will give it a go, that's for sure, as he works that away on the leg side for a single. He's striking at 186 per 100 this year, 185 per 100, which is huge.
Yeah, he's been terrific, as we were saying. He sort of salvaged things from 69 for 8 against Middlesex. And Middlesex had that little double victories over Essex and then Hampshire in the space of a couple of days.
96 for 5 in the 14th. Fuller into Charlie Allison. Allison drives, pleasant drive up towards deep mid-off. But again, it's only 1.
He's lost his timing since Benkenstein got out. He hasn't quite been the same. He started off, that first 28 or so was very good, but he's just lost his timing a bit in the innings.
It happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
42 he put on with Benkenstein in just 4 overs for the 4th wicket when Benkenstein fell for 17. But you're right, it hasn't been quite nearly as effective since. Here's Fuller into Harmer. Harmer works it away on the leg side. Should be 2. It's gone behind square. Quite a lot of work there for Potgieter to come around from square leg.
Not enough boundaries at the moment. Something dramatic is going to happen. 17.4. I think when you're the fielding side, the rate goes above 20. You start to feel, you feel fairly comfortable, don't you? But
free a ball, God, yeah.
Hampshire will like that 17.4 figure on the board as the required rate at the moment. Knowing, of course, that Sonny Baker has still got to contribute, potentially against the lower order.
Still 113 needed as Fuller is in and bowls. Harmer flicks it away on the leg side, goes straight to Potgieter this time.
But it's fair to say that Hampshire's England international star of the past, sadly it probably is now the past, James Vince, and their new star, who is going to take one of his chances very soon, I'm sure, at international level to get himself more established, particularly in the white ball side. Might take longer in the red ball for Sonny Baker, but it's been those 2 England stars who've really been at the forefront today for Hampshire.
2 balls left of the 14th. Fuller's in, 100 up for Essex, but at the cost of 5 wickets. And he's come down the wicket, and he has got hold of that over mid-wicket. Oh no, he's taken! Oh, he's just taken! Oh, that's a great catch, Hilton Cartwright. Right on the rope, and it looked like he was just going to tip over, and he somehow held his balance. Just stayed millimetres on the right side. Allison goes for 44. Fuller picks up his 2nd wicket.
Well, it certainly has gone Hampshire's way. Very, very good bit of fielding. I was thinking, why don't you throw it in the air like they all do at this point? Just chuck it up in the air and catch it on the rebound. But putting aside, the simplest thing was to hang on to it and not step over the rope, and that's, after a bit of thinking, he did that very well indeed. Well, Dancing in the dark is on the PA, and very much Essex's prospects are not just in the dark, but well, looking pretty much on the difficult side of impossible. Now, Noah Thane, bright young talent, just signed a new contract with Essex, but Simon Harmer, you feel he can do anything this season, but 18.2 and over. Sonny Baker has got 2 overs to bowl. He's taken 3 for 15. His pace will worry the lower order for Essex. Snater has been in good batting form. I almost think maybe you put Snater in now, actually. But it is Thane. And, wow, 100 for 6. Just thinking at the back of my mind, this was the bat first day on this pitch that was used on Saturday and saw the Brooke Butler partnership. But I can understand why Essex fielded first after their 2 very successful outings in the last couple of games.
So it's Fuller into Noah Thane bowls, and Thane is going to get a quick single out on the offside. 101 for 6. I've got an email from James Bradley who's asking what the attendance is tonight. It's very low, let's be honest. Probably a very good championship days cricket crowd here. I think Hampshire were hoping for around 2,500. I don't think we're quite in that ballpark, but remember, there's only literally a couple of days, 3 days at most, to get this fixture organised from Sunday night, when we weren't even sure then that Hampshire were going to get a home quarter-final tie. It is what it is. Finals day on Saturday for either of these two sides. You have to say at the moment it's looking very much like Hampshire's.
Yeah, and we were trying to work out who Hampshire was looking like. Hampshire now we're going to be playing in on finals day. We think it's the winner of Notts and Surrey, because it's all down to seeding. At the moment, Surrey on top in that particular game, 95 without loss in 11 overs, chasing 164. Surrey are bang on top there. They've taken the risk of the away tie, and a bit of a strange performance at times in the group phase from Surrey, but it looks like they're going to end up in finals day, and of course they've only won it once.
Early on as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, 6 overs to go. Here comes Baker back for his 3rd over, and again his extra pace just causing a problem there for Thane, the new batter, who's trying to work it away into the onside, and it's taken the leading edge and gone into the offside. Not bad thinking this from Vince. He's got a new batter in. Not a bad time perhaps to get Baker back into the attack to see if he can add to these 3 wickets. And with every ball, that asking rate is just going to go up and up. It's on 19s. It's 101 for 6. It means 111 are required. And there are 35 balls left. Baker from the northern end running away from us. Bowls a full-length delivery. Attempted Yorker, driven away nicely by Thane for a single up towards long on. And it's going to be Harmer. See, Harmer and Snater together. That's always a potential avenue of quick runs for Essex. Snater has been in good batting form, but maybe Thane can do well here. We'll see. But it has been a very convincing performance, this from Hampshire. Obviously, James Vince, the captain, getting 100 helps. But they have thoroughly looked the part after their late wobble in the group phase. Coming good with that important win at Hove, and now consolidating with a very good performance so far here. Here's Baker bowls to Harmer, and Harmer will work that away for another single out towards deep backward square leg. We're going to come back for the second run on the throw. But again, even 2s, Hampshire won't be too worried about now. It's basically, they don't want an over that goes, well, they don't want 2 overs that go for 20. That's basically what they're looking at. And at the moment, there's no sign of that. .12 in this over. 104 for 6.
I was just going to know Thane's strike rate over 17 games that he's played in his career. It's 160. I know he comes in late and he needs quick runs, but I mean, that's still a healthy strike rate.
It's not bad at all. As here is Snater to bowl, and that's an appeal for LBW, given out, and that is the end of Harmer, and I suspect the end of Essex. It was the 2nd attempted Yorker in the over, well pitched up, and it's trapped Harmer in front. The umpire was quick to give that out. Essex have gone here, I'm afraid, cannot see a way back. Harmer, who's capable of anything with a bat this season, out for 7. Baker has 4 wickets, a brilliant performance from Sonny Baker, and rewarded there for pitching the ball up for 2nd time in the over. He's got the wicket. Well, Shane Snater will give it a go, but I suspect that even this is beyond him. I tell you what, if he pulls it off, it would be quite something. But He is a noted hitter, Shane Snater, but the fact is, Kevin, no one's been able to lay a bat on this Hampshire attack, with the exception of that one over from Curry. I can't really think of too much more success. Hampshire have done a very good job with the ball and in the field, and Baker has led the way.
Yeah, his extra pace has proved a real difference as well. I'm just looking at it. His best T20 figures are for Hampshire, and that is 4 for 20. Currently, he is 4 for 18, so he's inside that currently.
Well, this is a little bit like at the moment, the game at the start of last year's Blast, which Hampshire lost by 100 odd runs and never really recovered. Yeah, we're disappointed with the performance so far, but I have to say that Baker's been excellent. 4 for 18, I think, looking at the sun on the scoreboard there. He comes into bowl, misses, to attempt to hit the ball down the ground. He's gone for it straight away, Snater, and it's gone through to Albert, standing a long way back far enough to be able to react to that. Swung the bat at it. He has to do that now, Snater. It's his natural game. A few might come off, but surely this is even beyond him. 21 and over required. There are 31 balls left, and there are still 108 needed. And there's only 3 wickets, 104 for 7. It's been a very, very good performance by Hampshire. And James Vince paced his innings and built his innings very impressively. Here is Baker up to the wicket. Bowls another full length delivery. That's sliced away off a leading edge. They don't go for the run because Albert is going to be able to gather it in. Albert would have had to take the gloves off to shy at the stumps, but you get a feeling it's a sense of resignation for Essex now. Just that little bright partnership between Benkenstein and Charlie Allison. But really, from the time that Benkenstein got out, Allison never really got back into form. Critchley and Harmer have gone cheaply. It's been a very disappointing batting performance for Essex. 104 for 7, chasing 212, and we're down to the last 5.
Well, there's a very stunned little one there on the picture feed at the moment with his lovely yellow hairy hat on, and he's got a signed shirt there from Fern, one of the presenters on the ground. He's given a wave, but he looks very nervous. He doesn't need to be, because being a Hampshire supporter, I don't think you need to worry too much here. Hampshire are going to romp home whatever Essex do from here on in. That's pulled away on the leg side for a single. Start of a new over from James Fuller. We are into the 16th over. Noah Thane with a single there. Moves on to 3.
Yeah, ultimately, someone of the class of James Vince plays innings like that. And so the way he paced it, the way we noted that he was trying to build an innings at the start, there was no rush, was there, in those first 8-9 overs?
Proper innings, proper T20 innings, that, if there is such a thing. Here's Fuller into Snater. Down the leg side, that'll be a wide. 106 for 7. A couple of wickets in the second over didn't help Essex's cause. No. Walter and Cox gone to Baker. Baker striking again in the 4th over, picking up Michael Pepper, and they've really struggled to make an impact since those 3 early wickets fell.
A terrific bowling performance by Baker.
Fuller's 2 for 19 as well in his last over here. Running towards us and bowls, and that's hit back off. That must be right at the bottom of the bat, because that's hardly gone any distance at all.
Hampshire bowl well, but I'm becoming more and more convinced, Kevin, that this pitch was at its best for batting. It is a used wicket. I think it was at its best for batting in the first innings. I really do.
Yeah. Well, Simon Harmer said he wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's just looking that way. There's been so many miscues, haven't there?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that one quick partnership of 42 between Allison and Benkenstein over 4 overs between the 4th and the 8th, where Essex really did get a move on, but either side of that, they've done nothing. That's a swing and a miss.
Yeah, Hampshire bowled well, but they're barely laying a bat on it. Snater, who is a noted hitter, but he's got to hit the ball yet, and he's had 4 deliveries and hasn't been able to. So, yeah, it's very disappointing. I mean, it's a great end to the group stage for Essex. They thoroughly deserve to qualify.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You could say in that South group, if you beat Kent twice, you've done most of the hard work, which Essex did.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's actually the nature of the group. But obviously, you can only beat who's in front of you.
106 for 7 then, as Fuller's in again. He's going to try something and plays and misses there. He was going to try a little ramp and then a reverse ramp and didn't do anything as the ball went through. to Toby Abbott. I think the thing is, and the game's not over yet. Of course, it's
No.
not. There's 27 balls.
It's
26
over.
balls remaining.
It's over a four a ball now.
I think Essex will. The most disappointing thing is that you want to at least show you're a good side when you get through the group stages, and I don't think Essex have done that tonight. But they've not been allowed to.
And there was that one mistake, of course, when Vince was batting. Yeah,
and that's crucial. Swing and a miss, or no? Actually, he's got that down to backward a square leg in the end. As Snater took the hand off the bat there. He's finally got off the mark on the 6th delivery he's faced.
So at the moment, finals day, it looks like Hampshire, Surrey, 104 for 1 in the 14th, chasing 164, surely going to beat Notts. Yorkshire, because Somerset are 60 for 7 after 12 overs against Yorkshire, needing 162. No one's really got in. Smead top scored with 21. 2 wickets for Van Beek, 2 for Hill. Terrific performance by Yorkshire with the ball.
He's Fuller bowls, and what's he done there? It's he's tried a slower ball or cutter or something, and it's bounced about 3 times through to Albert, and he scored a wide.
Adam Lyde's innings looking very important now. Nobody else really got in for Yorkshire, but he got a 64. Nobody else got past 20, but that has made the difference in the game. And the other finalist at the moment looks like it's going to be the Northants Steelbacks, because Gloucester made 152 and Northants are 50 without loss in the 7th. Look like they're cruising in that home tie.
Fuller with 1 ball left of his spell, and that's short and it's pulled away, but it'll only be a single out to deep mid-wicket. Thane moves on to 4, and Fuller completes 4 overs at 2 for 24, and he has been going for a few runs this year. I think overall that'll be by far and away his most economical 4-over spell.
Well, a few football anthems coming out now over the PA, and
is there something going on later?
Well, I think there is, but Hampshire fans supporting England tonight might have a nice double. Certainly going to be very, very interesting. But whipping up the crowd for that one later on. And a shame from a Hampshire point of view that more couldn't have come in to see this, because it has been a very, very good performance by Hampshire. This has been a little bit reminiscent of those 6 wins in a row that they've scored on this ground in the group phases. Here is Sonny Baker's last over. He comes into bowl. This is driven away for a single up towards Cartwright. But, well, I mean, just Thane goes to 5, but the game's up 110 for 7. Notionally, we need to tell you 102 are required from 23 deliveries at 26.6 and over.
Good game to win.
But it's interesting that Snater, who's a noted hitter, has really struggled to get bat on ball, and it just seems as though this pitch has got slightly tougher to bat on, which you'd expect for a used wicket. Here is Baker again. That's well pitched up, bowls in beauty, and Sonny Baker has 5. Fantastic bowling from the New England man. Another pitched up delivery. Too good for Snater on this occasion. 5 wickets for Sonny Baker, 5 for 19. He's still got 4 balls to go. He might add to it, but it's been a terrific exhibition, and he's backed up James Vince's century with some superb bowling here. And just to underline, it is Vince. Others have performed well. Weatherly's performed well. We've mentioned also that Fuller has performed well, but it's been the international class of Vincent Baker that has, for the most part, really stood out here.
First time Sonny Baker has taken 5 wickets in a T20 game. He's playing his 32nd match here this evening. And he's bowled quick, he's bowled intelligently. Bowled a quick ball to Michael Pepper, which surprised him with the bouncer. Quick ball there to get through the shot of Shane Snater. Good full delivery. Caught and bowled from Paul Walter, who got underneath one. Good change of angle from Baker, who was on his follow through when he had to turn very quickly and run back. And also Simon Harmer with a length ball, again too quick for the Essex captain.
At the moment, all 4 quarterfinals fairly one-sided. Here is Charlie Bennett at 110 for 8, facing up to Baker. Again, it's a well. He's looking for that Yorker again. Bennett's actually dealt with it pretty well, just driving it away towards mid-on. He's shown a bit of capacity with the bat, capability with the bat, Bennett, but this is far too big an ask. And Thane has only had 6 deliveries. He's not really had much of a chance to make an impact. 111 for 8. Well, they're just 101 runs short, but the snag is 8 wickets are down. We've only got 21 deliveries left. And, well, some might say, and I would be amongst them, that these two sides should not be playing each other in the quarterfinal, having already played each other twice. And that might be what Essex are thinking at the moment, because any other time might have been easier than what's happened today. This is driven down the ground. That's a good shot. That might be stopped at long on. No, that's the first boundary I can remember for a while. It's a good stroke from staying down the ground for 4. And he goes to 9, 115 for 8. So the ask has gone below 100, but there are only 20 deliveries left.
It is. I mean, you wouldn't have got this in the past. 2 teams in the quarterfinal
and it
playing the same
shouldn't be
group.
Towards cover, and there's no run. They've done well to, I think, shorten the gap between the group stage and the finals day. Perhaps it's slightly too short, but it's still an improvement on last year. But I think there's ways of tidying up. I think the women's T20 format is a vastly superior one, with a genuine regional national hybrid, with everyone being in one group. I would like, if you're going to have cross-pool games, I would like everyone shown in one group. I think it's much easier for the casual sports fan to understand and follow.
That was the first boundary since the 4th ball of the 7th over. Benkenstein hit Neil for 6.
1 ball left of the 17th over, 115 for 8. That's well pitched up again, driven away. Oh, that could have been a catch at cover. Would have been brilliant if it had been taken. I think it got on the full to Potgieter. It didn't magically stop. He stopped the 4, which is all Hampshire need to do. Yeah, brilliant stuff from Sonny Baker. 5 for 24. Just a few runs towards the end there, but 5 for 24 to go with Fuller's 2 for 24. And when you're defending 211, you've got 2 bowlers that are going for 48 in their 8 overs, and they've got 7 wickets between them. You're going to win the game.
Yeah, it's been a terrific all-round performance, really. We've talked about James Vince's 100, but we mustn't forget Joe Weathery with 46, who put on 117 with Vince in 9 overs for the 2nd wicket. And of course, a real big moment was when Harmer dropped Vince on 46. Not a difficult catch at all at extra cover. 115 for 8. We've got 3 overs to do then, assuming Essex batted out. And I'm afraid they are a long way away behind.
Should just say Lewis Gregory and Craig Overton are together for Somerset. So while they're together, I suppose there's still hope. They need 62 in 6 overs.
Together in the middle?
Yeah.
All right. Here comes Curry with a slower delivery. And that's prodded out on the offside by Charlie Bennett, who moves on to 2, 116 for 8.
They lost Daniel Sams for a duck. I remember his contributions for Essex. He's been a terrific overseas performer for counties in T20 cricket, and yeah, I remember him for Essex.
Curry in again. He's into his 3rd over here. That's worked on the leg side. There'll maybe no more than 1. I think Essex are just playing this out. There's no real belief there that they can win this game. I'm not even sure mathematically they can. They probably can, but
well, the asking rate's 35.6, so you're technically in the snookers area in a moment.
Yeah, I think
it would need the equivalent of Ollie Robinson to Lewis Kimber, the 43 runner.
He's something superhuman. Playing a miss outside the off stump, bit of a waft, quite wide to Charlie Bennett.
Just to say, in case I forget, good luck to the Hampshire women on Friday. They are the best side that I've seen Essex women play. Essex women got quite close to them, actually, in the T20 group game that we saw, but Hampshire women on other occasions have been far too good for them. So good luck to the Hampshire women on Friday.
Yeah, we have the 2nd match on Friday. Oh, that's a low full toss. And that's called a no ball, not surprisingly. Bennett wasn't quite sure where that was. He played and missed it, but he didn't quite know. It looked very high.
He's got a free hit. He just needs a few more of those.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you are. There's one snooker. Just about another 20 to go. I know we've been asked about the crowd. I mean, this is no more than a good championship days crowd here. And for various reasons, the main reason being, of course, there's only been about 2 and a bit days to organise the game, as that's hit away off an inside edge. The ball trickles to short fine leg, fielded by Chris Wood. Single taken, takes Essex onto 118 for 8. They'll be massively disappointed. That dressing room to the left of the pavilion will be full of some very, very glum Essex players. As I said, it's horrible when you put in a performance like this.
because they have deserved to qualify. Those
Yeah,
3 wins out of 4 were very good.
If you go down, you at least want to go down with a good performance. He's played it almost onto his stumps, that hook shot there, Noah Thane.
Bit indifferent earlier on in the campaign. I say beating Kent twice was very important in the context of a group where Middlesex and Sussex were unlikely to qualify.
Yeah.
But could have done without losing to Middlesex at Chelmsford, which were just restricted there what they might be able to achieve in the latter part of the group.
Curry bowls. Has he got hold of that? It's up in the air. This could be caught at deep mid wicket. And it's another good catch. Hilton Cartwright. He takes absolutely everything that comes anywhere near him. Just dive forward somewhat as he ran in from the deep mid wicket boundary. Thane goes for 10. Essex are 9 down with the total on 119.
Yeah, very good. So we mentioned good luck to the Hampshire women, and of course, we wait for confirmation. We think it might be, from just talking to the guys downstairs, that in the press area, with the winner of Not Surrey is the most likely contest for the winner of this game. But Hampshire look very good. I mean, obviously Vince coming right back into a form after a couple of lower scores is a good thing. Cartwright's been in terrific form. Ben Mays with that knock at Hove. The bowling unit looking pretty settled. I wonder if Dawson will be able to play in the finals day. The problem is there's a one-day international the following day. That's the snag. And it's just a shame that the England players can't be released for that, such as the timing. There is too much international white ball cricket. I mean, really, you only needed 3 or 4 one-day internationals. That's all you needed really here.
Yeah, I think Andrew Neil's done a great job.
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
He's done great. That's played away into the offside for a single. And Bennett will get 1 run. Yeah, I mean, to do the job he's done, in Dawson's absence, has been absolutely terrific, and no doubt about that. And in fact, they haven't. That's the thing; they haven't missed Dawson, which we might have seen in a different context of the day. If perhaps they'd been defending a smaller total, he might have been more missed. Here is Wood bowling, and that's driven firmly back past Chris Wood. It's going to go up towards the long off boundary. It will be actually stopped by long on running round, and a bit of a relay effort keeps them down to 2. So Cook gets a couple of runs. But it is all over now for Essex, and has been for some time, sadly. Notionally, they need 90 from 10 balls. But yeah, fine performance from Andrew Neil. And as I said, Dawson, I think, would have been thoroughly approving of his efforts. This is just back of a length delivery, which attempt to force the ball through the offside, and it just runs down towards short fine leg, and there's no run there. So Cook and Charlie Bennett, last pair together, 122 for 9. A very disappointing day for Essex. They chose to field first. Hampshire had 2 good partnerships, 60 for the first wicket, and a giant second wicket stand between Weatherly and Vince. And Vince, I think he was out just towards the end of the 19th over, wasn't he, having made that brilliant century. That was driven down the ground. Another single goes up towards long off. And given the wicket, do have a last pair together. Kevin, I'll hand over to you, because the wicket could go down at any time, just to see Hampshire through.
So 123 for 9. Didn't quite think that this would happen this quickly or this easily, but it has. It's been Hampshire's day. As Wood comes in and bowls, left arm over. That's hit down the ground. Should be 2 more. Might even be 4. Well, that's well timed by Charlie Bennett. And as the ball goes over the rope just below us, Bennett moves on to 8. And Essex move on to 127 for 9, coming towards the end of the 19th over. Chris Wood still wicketless. Scott Curry's wicket in his last over takes him on to 22 wickets in the competition. And Wood is over the wicket again. Bowl short, and that's down. That's going to be a wide down the leg side to Charlie Bennett.
Yeah, almost from the Hampshire point of view, the intensity's gone a little bit, because they know the game is won. There's no issues of run rate here because it's a quarter-final, so it's quite understandable. If there's the odd lapse of concentration, they probably just want to get off and celebrate and probably watch the football.
Is there a football match later? It's not another local non-league friendly, is it?
Yeah, it could be. Well, it's
pre-season
starting
friendly
off now. Yeah,
I think
friendly is probably not the first word for tonight's game.
84 needed from 7.
Just to say, Lewis Gregory is out in that Somerset match. 94 for 8 in the 16th over, chasing 162 to beat Yorkshire.
Wood is in to Bennett. Bennett edges! Oh, and almost taken at short third man. Huge dive there, but he's gone for 4 at the end of that over from Chris Wood, who's completed his 4 overs, none for 29. Essex at 132 for 9, needing another 80.
Well, these two sides meeting each other again relatively soon, of course, because they're in the same 50 over group, and that is a competition where Hampshire do well. They tend to make finals, and Essex, I think, this year have as good a chance as in any previous year with the development of their younger players. So that could be a good contest at the end of the month, and 50 over competition starting next week.
Here's Curry then to bowl the last over. It's a play and a miss. Clever slower ball there from Curry as it bounces several times through to Toby Albert.
Surrey 131 for 3, need 33 in 21 balls with 7 wickets left, and Roy and Evans with a good opening partnership there has set them up. Jason Roy made 76. He's really got right back into form.
Curry to Cook. Cook swings and it's gone up in the air and it's dropped short of deep bid on. Single takes Essex on to 133 for 9. 79 are needed from the last, where are we, 4 balls?
And Northants still cruising along against Gloucestershire. 84 for 1, 9 overs left to get another 69 runs. So it is looking like Hampshire, Surrey, Yorkshire almost certainly, and Northants to contest finals day.
Curry in, that's a hit up and falls just short of mid-off.
I mean, there's been some close run things in the last few deliveries, haven't they? The moment of Hampshire's victory has proved elusive, but it is just round the corner, come what may. And worst case scenario for the home fans, it's in 3 balls time.
3 balls left, 133 for 9, 79 runs needed. As Curry's in, crowd want this game to end. That's a hit away on the leg side. Won't happen there.
Yeah.
Single.
I must say, you make a good point about Neil, because when I was looking at this game, I scored it pretty much even as terms of what I thought might happen because of Essex's good recent form, including the win over Hampshire, and Hampshire's slight wobble towards the end of the group phase. And I thought Cox available, Dawson not, but it's whatever little advantage Hampshire appeared not to have, they've really overcome it.
2 balls left. Scott Curry with the penultimate ball. That's hit, and that'll only be a single up to mid-off. 135 for 9, and we have got to the final ball of this quarter-final. Hampshire against Essex, with Essex on 135 for 9. Well, somehow they've got to find 77 off this final ball. They might need a few no balls and wides to help them. Here's Curry then, in. And bowls to Bennett, who tries to work that away, does work it away on the onside, but it's just the one. And Essex finish on 136 for 9. And Hampshire win this game by 75 runs, having scored 211 for 3. And Hampshire are into finals day for a 12th time. They will compete at Edgbaston this coming Saturday. And that is a comprehensive victory over a very good Essex side that I'm afraid just didn't fire tonight.
No. Yeah, you can argue about the decision at the toss, but I understand obviously the fact Essex have bowled 2 sides out cheaply, bowling first, and one of those was Hampshire, so understandable in that respect. But the pitch did look easier for batting in the first innings, and James Vince won an innings that was 125 from 61 balls. And after a decent tight start with the ball from Snater and Cook, and initially from Bennett, things, it relied on Harmer's normal tight spell, but even he got attacked towards the end. And in the end, there was nothing much they could do really to contain Vince, who batted all the way through to the end of the 19th over. He was out when the score was 199. It was a complete T20 innings at a strike rate of just on 205 runs per 100 balls. Absolutely brilliant. And then backed up by superb performance from Sonny Baker. Certainly also good bowling, notably from everyone. You look at those bowling figures, everyone's gone from between 24 and 33 in a neat little range there for Hampshire. Been a very, very good team bowling performance, but the standout, obviously, Sonny Baker's 5 for 24. The 3 early wickets, the 3 crucial wickets, Walter and Pepper in form, Jordan Cox all out very quickly. Charlie Allison batted well, but Luke Benkenstein. But when Benkenstein got out, Allison just lost his way a little bit. And Critchley and Harmer couldn't quite be able to get in and get established. And by then, the rate was just getting out of control. A terrific performance by Hampshire. They continue their winning run against Essex on this ground. Great disappointment for Essex. It just hasn't been their day, but they have been outplayed.
Yeah, so well done to Hampshire. Commiserations to Essex. And Hampshire will be at Edgbaston for a 12th time to compete in T20 finals day. Not quite a career best for James Vince, just a few runs short of his overall top score in T20s, but a career best 5 wickets for Sonny Baker, leading the way for the home side. Thank you very much, Nick. I'm sorry, I know you'll be disappointed.
No, it's one of those things, but to be honest, it wasn't as though they lost to, I think, the last ball. That was a very good performance by Hampshire.
Yeah.
From Hampshire's point of view, I hope they can replicate it on Saturday.
Well, they've got a chance of making it 4 wins or 4 successful trophy wins, and if they do that, they will pull away from Leicester and Somerset, who have, just like Hampshire, have won the trophy 3 times. Thank you very much for listening. A poor crowd tonight. It's a bit of a shame, but nevertheless, the ones that were here were treated to a quite scintillating home display. I will say a very good evening from the Utilita Bowl.
Congratulations to Sonny Baker, the first ever T20 for him today. James Vince with that incredible innings as well, just short of his lifetime career.